Hey, 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 hey.
Hey.
What up, guys?
Hey. Hi, Matt.
Ooh, Matt, first in the club. All
Oh, yeah.
right.
We love it. We love when people are here early. So we
Yes, yes, yes,
appreciate you,
yes,
Matt.
yes.
We
He
have a
bumped up
big
the
show.
VIP.
He is in the
Yes,
VIP.
UDFP. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. We appreciate you. Ha! Our next our next VIP
Hey, light
has
skin mama.
entered the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dead. Shout out to
Yes.
Keith in the chat.
We love you, bro. So we have a big show ahead. We were all the last time I saw you all was in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
something happened in Chicago last weekend. I think we might touch on that today. Hey, Brian. So yeah, we're gonna be all jokes aside. We're gonna be talking about CM Punk
Yeah.
and how we feel about him. Of course, we talk about his return because we were thankfully in the building. Seindole had probably the perfect seat to
Oh,
the
yeah.
spectacle that it was.
Oh, yeah.
Angles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I had the perfect seat to him. I had the perfect seat to Jay Uso. I had the perfect
Oh,
seat to
yeah.
seeing. I had. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
Yes, we'll get into all of that. Brian and I and Krista B had a different experience to CM Punk's return, so we'll get into all of that. But first, of course, let's get some housekeeping stuff off the agenda. So we're back, fan club. We took a little break. We are here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. ish on Twitch with me and my crew, Brian H. Water, Seindole. Justin is going to be coming in as well. And sometimes we have special guests. We always, we love when our sis Krista B is in the building. Shout out to her. And put something in the comments if you guys saw her question to Charlotte and Becky Lynch, which is such a full circle moment because she was able to talk to Becky and Bianca last Survivor Series, and it's in Boston, and it's her favorite pay per view or PLE, whatever.
It's my favorite
Um,
PL,
yeah,
yeah.
so it was such a dope experience. But how are you guys?
Hold on. Whoa. Sorry. At the risk of getting in trouble. We also gonna give you your props. Not
Yeah.
only not only did you ask Gunther a question,
Mm-hmm.
but several fan club episodes ago, you listed your top 10 favorite wrestlers. And one of your favorite wrestlers referred to that question on Monday Night Raw. So shout out to you
Mm-hmm.
too, Miss Queen PR.
Thank you. Wait, I don't think I know what you're referring to.
Really, girl, girl,
All
girl.
right. I'm not gonna break the fourth wall, but
No, do it, Brian.
no,
Do it.
no,
Do
no,
it. Do it. Do
Okay.
it.
no. But on Raw, Miz said to Gunther,
Mm-hmm.
he said, at the press conference, you said that whoever wanted to challenge you, they had to come at you because you was the champion.
Oh, see, I didn't see that, so I appreciate that. I appreciate that. See, the Miz knows. The Miz knows. The Miz is the greatest intercontinental champion of all time. And I said it in the press conference in the
Mm-hmm.
background. But I did say it, and I do love Gunther because it was actually another
Gunta.
cool moment because wait, say it, Siendo.
Gunta.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Ah!
Dating General. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Having to see it in
he,
Chicago was
he
just
may
great.
be
Go
one of the
ahead.
first people, as Kaz would say, that Samantha Irvin stink on your name. That like when you
Yes.
get that, that's when you at a different level based on how he may be the first one.
He was the first one, and then remember
Okay.
she started with the Chelsea Green, and I
Yeah.
was like, all right, that did make me like this Chelsea Green just a little bit, but yeah, I agree with you.
She
Definitely Gunther was the first.
Yeah, and I like I met him when he was what's his other name that he went by?
Walter,
Walter. His
Walter.
you
real
know me. Shout
When
out
he
to NXT
won,
UK on the track.
yes, when he won that championship. So it was cool to now ask him a question, and like I wasn't really that familiar with him when I met him in 2019, and now to be able to ask him a question at Survivor Series, and he's like holding that championship like historically, like it was a cool moment. So thank you for that
Mm.
shout out. Brian H. Waters. Also, you may have seen my face on the US Sun's social media platforms and on YouTube. So we're testing out some wrestling content, and it's in sort of, I would like to call, the pilot phase. So you
3,000 K views. Oh, sorry. I'm a little parched. I should probably
thank
crack
you.
this open.
Thank you.
Because,
So I will say that it is definitely not easy pushing wrestling content on sites that don't normally push it. And it's hard to kind of defend it to people who think that's just like that thing that people used to watch back and that Hulk Hogan did in the back of the day. And it's harder because of everything that's happening right now. Like we saw the records that Survivor Series broke, like 24% revenue markup since last year. Like that business wise is insane. Over 71 million views on a social clip, so it's like, where's the disconnect of like how this can like really work? So any engagement with the content really helps. Any shares, comments, likes really helps the cause. And I want to appreciate everyone who has already supported the project and has been messaging me so many words of encouragement. Happy birthday, Wilkins from Jobber Sears podcast. He gave me the most amazing pep talk the other day that I really needed to hear at the right time. And Black Thoughts, I don't know if he made his way, and Mike, they were like so supportive, and they just, they helped me remind myself who I was and to kind of keep pushing and keep going. So I want to thank everyone in the community for all of the support on that. Like it's so much fun. And again, what we're doing, being able to talk about wrestling in these capacities, like being in the press conferences, like none of that gets old. We are incredibly blessed to be doing what we're doing. Krista B and I literally pinch ourselves all the time when we just think about all of the amazing opportunities that we've been afforded. So thank you, everyone. And I just want to show a whole bunch of gratitude to all of you. We will be getting back to creating content. So just watch out for that. We have our giveaway, our 2K23 giveaway tonight. Brian, do you want to tell everyone about that?
Absolutely. So, as we are giving out birthday shout outs, another good friend, good brother of the program, the WWE 2K World Heavyweight
It's
Champion.
also his birthday as well.
His birthday.
Yeah, Cornell Gunther, his birthday is today, and he has blessed this wonderful platform with a few giveaways. And if you are in the comment section, just like Rakasha, you have an opportunity to win WWE 2K23. And when I tell you I have the game, it is a great one. Trust me when I tell you it's one of my favorite wrestling games. But to win a copy for PlayStation or Xbox, sorry, Pete. You just go
He
on
understands.
Apple Podcasts or Spotify, rank 5 stars, give us a 5-star rating. Also, send us a screenshot to any one of us and we'll get you over a copy. But you must be following and subscribed as well as the YouTube channel. But the 5-star rating, so help support those wrestling girls, support the cause. It costs you nothing. Nothing at all. No purchase necessary. Just a simple 5-star rating and proof, and then boom, you have an opportunity. So the first come, first serve. So hurry up and do it, and you could be playing
Hurry up and do
WWE
that, and we'll check it
tonight.
Yes, and then we'll get it up on the screen too, so people can see.
Nice.
About, but hey Justin.
Hi.
Justin, hey friend.
Welcome.
Hey friend.
Hello, friends who went to Chicago and had the most amazing time at Survivor Series while my ass was freezing here in the DMV.
Oh no,
honey, you wasn't missing nothing. Let me tell you that part about the freezing part. Because when they said hell froze over, I was like, damn, I ain't mean they met outside too. Shit.
Yo, it was so cold.
You ain't missed nothing, honey. You would have came where you left off. I'm telling you right now.
See, that's
nothing weather-wise.
That's why I didn't go, because I was like, wait, Chicago at the end of November? Like, absolutely the fuck not.
But you know what, though?
Thank you.
But big shout out to like WWE and their logistics, because the logistics of the Allstate Arena, we're talking 15 minutes from the airport.
Oh, it was
And
beautiful.
5 minutes from any hotel you're staying in. We need more of that, WWE. We
That
need
was,
more of
oh
that.
my
I need to
God.
be able to walk through a event. We need more of that. Like, listen, hear me out. We need more of that.
Mm.
We need a lot more of it. That's all
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Oh
about
yeah.
that, because that was
It was
perfect.
a beautiful, beautiful thing. Because if anyone has ever been to these big arena stadium shows, getting an Uber, even getting your car out of that situation is always a nightmare that nobody likes to think about because it's just like, oh my God, we're gonna have so much fun. But when we walked out of Allstate, when we were like literally turned the corner and we saw like Allstate, we were like, oh yes. And then we got out. I'm spoiled. Like, I don't know, like, if I'm ever gonna be able to do like the whole get an Uber on like a side street because fucking it's like insane. It was so good.
Yeah,
That was
unless they put WrestleMania or one of these shows in the DMV, or Baltimore, it's kind of hard to get better than that because you would think like, okay, I don't know much, but I don't know if the United Center is that close. But to see how close Allstate Arena was to everything, because certainly wasn't like that at the Royal Rumble. Detroit was closer, but I was satisfied with
yeah.
Detroit, but this
Yeah,
was even
Detroit
better.
was
Yeah,
good.
I was too. I was able to literally walk Superstore, arena, then
Mhm.
hotel. It was pretty convenient. It
So I know
logistically was really good.
with Chicago, United Center is in downtown. So and that's like hard to get in, hard to get out as far as like parking and stuff like that. So
Okay.
that's probably another reason why WWE prefers Allstate.
Well, it's
Mm.
also bigger and costs more from what I heard. That was
That
the
too.
Yeah,
reason why
I mean
all
AEW.
AEW Rampage, that episode was in United Center. And that's when it was like, all right, CM Punk is here because there's no way you're booking that arena
Right.
unless you got him in your back pocket for that big return.
What was that? What is Keith talking about? 5-star rating.
Apple or
The
Spotify.
Oh
podcast, the
yes,
Like,
yes.
PWG
For the
podcast,
giveaway.
get in
Yes.
the
and
rhythm.
in the rhythm of giveaways, I feel like because I'm the best super fan out there right now. Apparently, I'm popular, so to speak. Um, I feel like the best unpopular opinion about what we witnessed deserves some merch. And I'm so glad he has merch back up. A little heated that I ordered a shirt and a hoodie came, but nonetheless, I'm still in the giving spirit. So the best
Oh,
unpopular opinion on
From
this
WWE
show.
Shop.
Yeah, he dropped the hoodie and he dropped the women's shirt, and I got the
what?
women's
Can
shirt.
I enter
But
the
then
giveaway?
uh, the best unpopular opinion
Oh my God.
gets
So
some
Mm.
I'm
merch.
all right.
They get a
If
T-shirt.
yes, so thank you for doing that giveaway, by the way, Seindole. And you are a popular CM Punk fan
Yes, I
because
am.
you have
Mhm.
rode out for him. You have referred to yourself as his apologist, I believe. I don't know if that was Pablo. Shout out to
If,
Pablo.
if you go on Twitter now, I am now his defense attorney. So
Oh,
yeah,
well,
someone gave me
Oh,
that
look
I'm
at
glad
advantage.
you.
I'm glad that you were able to make this show, counselor. So,
I
I
feel
think
like we're on
you'll
an
be
episode
able
of Scandal.
to. Oh yeah.
I feel
It's
like
like
this is long order.
That's the
Okay.
scandal
it's like
sound.
you're welcoming to my world where it's like, oh, I like how you made some room on the docket for us. Like, thank you.
Damn, that's good, Justin. You're fucking hilarious.
I
I
mean,
can't.
once you
That was
said legal, I was
perfect,
like, yeah,
Justin.
you're crossing into my 9 to 5. This is what I do.
Got
Shout
you.
out to
You're like, that's
Pablo.
my shoe
Yes.
job. That's my shoe
Mhm.
job.
This is my shit.
All right. So I think if that's all of the housekeeping stuff, please forgive me if I'm forgetting anything. But I think the giveaways, make sure you do all that kind of stuff. And get your unpopular opinions about CM Punk. Let's get these going in the comments. I'm gonna star some. We have some tweets that we bookmarked from asking about the unpopular opinions, and also, is CM Punk the best in the world? It's when you like look at a wrestler's career, and it's hard to like judge, if they've only done like one thing or maybe just wrestled in one promotion or was just wrestling for a few years. But CM Punk is kind of gone in like a circle in like so many different ways where now we can actually, ask that question because he's been in the game for so long. His fans missed him tremendously when he was gone because every fucking show I went to, there was CM Punk chants. And then he debuts in AEW and does all these things. They build a show around him and it's all that, and then get fired or whatever the case. We'll get into that. comes back to WWE and sets all these records already, and people are still talking about CM Punk on the timelines in the IWC, and we're gonna get into it as well. But we can now see, like, is he the best in the world? So it's also funny that, hey Krista, also
Hey, Scarf.
oh
What?
my god, I cannot wait for everyone to hear
You
it.
I feel like
have
that's
to
an inside
watch.
joke.
You have to be in tune on Friday to understand why I call her that. I'm gonna save it for then. But hey, boo. Hey, Scarf. What's going on?
Tease.
Bonnet sends her regards. Okay.
There you go. Hey, Bonnet.
Hey, Bonnet.
But yes, tune in on Friday and you will hear a lot more about our Chicago trip and mainly about Seindole and Krista B's adventures. But so it's funny because we're doing a show about CM Punk and we put him in the box. If you are in our VIP, you know that we were like, because I was fucking over it. I was like, I am not talking about CM Punk ever again. So I'm gonna start.
Remember
tonight.
that I took the sabbatical from the sabbatical?
Yes.
Yeah, because I had to agree to put him in the box. So P understands. I had to take a sabbatical from the sabbatical.
Yes.
Like I had to mute homeboy, and it paid me to do that,
Oof.
but I had to do it. But
Yeah, it be like
that
that
was the past.
sometimes, and
So
that's
does
how I
that mean that we
know.
gotta go into the ocean and go fish out that box just to take them out and then
Oh,
throw
I
that
did. I did
back in the
already.
back in
I
the
had my
ocean?
Did
people
all
do
that.
that. I had my
You
people
did
do
all
that.
that.
We back. We all the way back. So I do want to start this stream about our unpopular opinions on Phil Brooks by saying that I am a hypocrite. And I am a fucking fickle wrestling fan, and I don't give a fuck because I am so excited about everything CM Punk right now. Like, I want a T-shirt, I want all that shit because, like, him coming back in Chicago is like moments I live for. I see you don't laugh because you
Wow.
talk probably. No, see Pablo, I'm not hating. I just
Pablo.
started off by saying that I am a hypocrite and I'm fickle and I'm all into CM Punk right now. I want one of his new shirts and all that shit. I love it. It was an epic moment. That's a moment I live for. I wish I was in the crowd. But we'll get into that.
Yeah,
Let,
I saw what happened.
let, let
Y'all
me
got
ask
to
So
you a
discuss that.
question. I
so
gotta
go ahead.
I gotta ask you a question because I 1,000,000% understand exactly where you're coming from. However, I actually kind of had that moment with AEW Rampage when he came back.
Oh yeah, you did
I,
say that.
and I wasn't necessarily like I had my time of being a CM Punk like huge fan was 2011, the summer of Punk. It was amazing, had to be there. Then he left, and it was like, all right, it was cool that we got the tea almost damn near 9 years ago to last week when that interview dropped with Cole Cabana, or maybe this week. So it was like, all right, whatever. But when he came back that night in AEW was magical. I went back, I rewinded, I watched it again. Did you have the moment then when you turned on AEW Rampage? Were you like, or were you excited to see what was happening, or were you curious? Because I can understand how you feel now. And let's be
Yes.
real, he's in the WWE ring. It's 10 times better.
A
The
thousand
quality, the
So,
percent.
presentation.
He even looked better.
oh
So
my
Yes, yes.
God,
yeah,
honey,
he
he
looked.
like he
I was
slept
I never looked at
well.
I never looked at Phil like that, and I was like, oh,
I did.
okay, okay. No, and the reason why I want to get my stuff out is because of how I always felt about CM Punk. If you guys
Mm-hmm.
know, if you've been on our stream, and then I want to let you guys take, especially like Seindole, because I know, like, you know, you're probably on a retainer or something, you know, as his counsel. So I want to make sure that you have your time, but
Nah, I'm working pro bono. It's okay.
But
I
that
love
big
it.
ass bag he's getting from WWE better not be working pro
Oh God, my
bono.
coworker was like, "Yo, how much you think WWE paid him?" And I was like, "I can only fucking imagine."
A lot.
And then he was like, "I
At
wonder what
least seven
AEW paid
At
figures.
least
him,"
seven
and I
figures,
At
said,
bro.
least seven
"Definitely a lot."
figures.
Yeah. Oh, a
So
thousand
if
percent.
I could just real quick answer
Mm-hmm.
Brian's question, I think the biggest difference is that when he came back to that episode of Dynamite in his hometown in Chicago, the rumblings already started. It was already leaked. It was like, okay, Punk's returning to wrestling. And it was a different aspect of him returning to wrestling because this is somebody who left WWE after everything they've gone through and got completely turned off from wrestling. And someone who told you, like Chris Van Bleek even talked about it and was like, this is somebody I interviewed who told me 10 years ago that they would never, ever, ever return, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when he came back on that episode of Dynamite, it was more or less like, holy shit, like we're getting CM Punk, we're getting Ring of Honor CM Punk, we're getting Indie Punk, we're getting the guy who loves wrestling back, and it's the company that made him do it. Then, all the A, B, C, D, E, F, B, S starts happening, but he goes home, and this time was different. He was very quiet. I don't know if it was just me who noticed it. He was very quiet this time. So, and the reason why I doubt it, even as I'm sitting somewhere up there in the rafters, if you see, you can't see me in the background, but I'm seeing in the rafters, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? This night was a good night already. We got Randy Orton back. We got our truth back, which was hilarious to me. Like this
Yes.
night, even if Punk had decided, you know what, I'm not going to show up this time, everybody would have been okay. The chants were loud. It was a typical Chicago crowd because remember, we've been through this before. Everybody wanted him back like the year later after everything had went down and expect them to come back, and they sent Paul Heyman out to the slaughterhouse to kind of toy with everybody by playing his theme music and cutting that promo, and then Stephanie kind of threw her jab, and so little by little, the fate for him to come back was gone because this is again somebody who said, I'm never, ever, ever coming back to that company. Things happened there that like changed or altered my life. Like things were affecting me that happened there. Like it was a big never again. And then he gets fired from AEW and you're thinking, okay, this guy's done with wrestling because you didn't work out here. You didn't work out at this new company. Where else is it for you to go? And I want to shout out the Jobbers Tears podcast. Janelle having me on the Big Four really put it into perspective for me. I'm like, this guy's going to come back for his fans. So to see, so this time felt different because it's like, all right, it's Chicago. It's the All-State Arena. It's it's the oldest arena that Chicago has. It's a wooden dome stadium. Think about that. It's a wooden dome arena. So that sound and that boom, you're not going to get that reaction anywhere else. He has to come out. So when he came out, it was like different because this is somebody, and everybody's reaction, I feel like, is genuine because when somebody tells you never and you hold on to it for so long and it finally happens, you're like, wait, holy shit, I was right. Like, I think a lot of people were like, wait a minute. Like, I was really down. Like, he's really back. Like, whoa. So I say this by saying, like, when I tell you, like, tears, y'all, like, I had tears. I was like, yo, I'm really looking at this man walk out. And it was different because I went to a Collision seeing him for the first time. That I haven't seen CM Punk since WrestleMania in New York City. And P knows that WrestleMania. That was a WrestleMania with him and the Undertaker. That's how long I have not seen CM Punk. That's how long I haven't seen him. 2013, right? Had to be 2013. That's how long I haven't seen him.
Yes.
So it's different for me to see this guy in living color. I was like, whoa, this is a sign of the times. This is crazy, but I'm here for it.
Like one thing that I appreciate about moments like that, and it was the same with like the Cody Rhodes return. Like that's one of the best wrestling moments I've ever been a part of, and I was never a Cody Rhodes fan. And what I like about it is there's always that pause from the crowd, that because it's like a shock, because they're like, wait, is that his music? Oh wait, is it? And then he comes out, and then you hear it like really like swell, like, oh shit, he's back. Because I'm one of those people that I would have bet money. Like if somebody was like, would you bet, how much would you bet that? And I would have bet my fucking salary on that shit. That's how gun ho I was like, he is not coming back to WWE.
If it was a Draft King question, I'd be banking right now. Like, I'd be like, we would be eating steak and lobster.
When did you feel that way?
Huh?
When did you feel that way? Like, okay, he'll be back.
When it had to be, he put out on his Twitter. No, he put on his story, his devil thing. And remember, was it the devil thing? No, it was more when he first had stepped into a house show after his injury. He put that on his story. And I'm like, why are you putting that in his story? And I had to remember that was Chicago. So all the moments that he culminated were him in Chicago. So I'm like, there's no way this guy is going on the internet toying with us this way if he wasn't coming back. So it had to be that picture of him in the ring in a house show in Chicago that I'm like, all right, this man is really coming back for his fans. Like, to the point where I did what I did Saturday and my bank account hates me, but I don't regret a goddamn thing. But also, for the fact that I was just in the building, like P always says that, like, it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're in the building, you feel different. I feel different because I'm telling you, the effect of me being home, it wouldn't have felt right for me to be home, especially if I'm somebody that I'm his fan. And I've always wanted to be around the Chicago crowd. That crowd was a fun crowd. Like, mind you, I was sitting in I had to get a nosebleed because it was a last minute thing. But the people that I was around were good vibes, and I haven't heard the best things about Chicago, but the people, they won me over because they were like ruckus. They were not letting a dull moment go by. Those people appreciated being in the building just like I appreciated it.
The crowd in general, I think that night was really hot. Like I think we all knew something big was gonna happen, and the way that they built the suspense, even with Randy coming back, because they even teased that Randy might not even be there too. So they really did such a good job pacing the suspense, and I don't think that Randy Orton's return was overshadowed.
I don't think so either. I think that's a very I think that's
like right. The suspense, from when they announced it on, I want to say SmackDown,
Raw, 2 weeks, last week,
Raw, and to the end of the match, he still doesn't show up. Then there's the shot of the empty cages. So they built it to where the Viper got a good time, where we weren't even and then CM Punk had his moment. So I'm glad you guys agree with that, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, they overshadowed."
And to hear the Viper's music, right, in that situation, y'all know I was calling for a cash in. I had been saying it. I was,
you did say that. I remember that.
I really thought we was going to get it. I thought that they would jump him, they would jump Seth Rollins, and then it looked like we was going to have it. But then all of a sudden, and shout out to Rhea getting her spot, because
that was good too.
In the world, she's literally one of the best in the world. What she does, she deserves to have a moment like that, dragging out Jessica Carr. So that was just a whole beautiful sequence. If you look at that last 15 minutes, it made you say, you know what? To me, it was, out of the big four, it's number 2 out of my favorite ones that I've been to this year, because like everything was fine and it felt Attitude Era like, where sometimes about the last 10 years, sometimes they will hold back stuff, right? Okay, we don't want to give them too many moments because we got this moment, and we don't want to give too many moments. It was like, we can dump everything, and I'm gonna thank you, TK, thank you, Tony Khan, because when you can't go one-on-one with Triple H. He is a master troll. He did that, like you saw. Young
understands the business.
Mm-hmm.
And plays the long game.
Long game. And you think about what he would do with him and The Rock, right? And he would always one-up The Rock to the point The Rock kept getting mad. And Bruce Pritchard said this, and P, you may remember Bruce Pritchard telling the story. He said, look, what are you going to do? Are you going to bitch and moan about it? Or are you going to go toe-to-toe with him? And that made The Rock step his game up. These are like, he was a degenerate. And you're going to try to do that? The book a 3-hour show on the same day? Okay. Now we're going to hit you with everything. And guess what? Maybe if Jade Cargill was ready, probably would have threw her in there too.
Oh, I mean, Rhea needs someone that can fucking match her. Shit, Jay might just
But
be
we
the
also
one.
talked about this on previous fan clubs. Like when Jay pulled up in WWE, my whole thing was like, there's no fucking rush because you already have a very stacked roster. If you're gonna debut Jade on TV, you gotta have a clear-cut plan on how you're gonna use her. If she's gonna debut at the Rumble, you better have Mania plans for her. If she's debuting at Mania, you better have plans for her right after that, when that Raw after WrestleMania going into Backlash and all that shit. You better have something for Jade other than here's how we're gonna debut her. And then when Jade debuts, that means she's taking someone's spot, because you're not gonna have her just chilling and probably like beating up like jobbers and shit like that. Like, nah.
But Justin, think about this. Think about these names: Scott Steiner, Ultimo Dragon, the Wow Man, Mark Merrow, Diamond Dallas Page.
Okay.
All these people came in with big spots, right? Got rushed, fell by the wayside. And just like you said, that's not happening with Jade. They you know, and it's no rush. I mean, my gosh, did y'all watch NXT last night? First of all, parking lots are dangerous. Roxanne Perez and Kiana James are cooking. You know,
We've been knowing about the NXT parking lot.
Kalani Jordan, yeah, she won the match because Roxanne, you know, rang the bell early to distract Kiana James. But Kalani Jordan, she's in the breakout tournament. She's cooking. Or the Iron Survivors Challenge. The ladies down there, like you just said, Justin, it's no rush because the ladies down there cooking. And wrestling is so much fun right now. And we are headed, and this is, we're not even on the road to WrestleMania yet. So this makes me feel good that once we come out of WrestleMania, because guess what? They don't have, it's not like before Backlash was just like, all right, we'll focus on time. They still got to get that international crowd. So just like how it was last year in Puerto Rico, you know, that's why when you look at 2023, this actually may be, with a lot of bias, this may be one of my favorite years, like top 5 favorite years in wrestling, because to me, they hit a lot of stuff. Spoiler alert, got a new piece coming out called the Pro Wrestling Mixtape. Shout out to Cal for the name.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah, actually, WWE Mixtape, the 2023 WWE Mixtape. I'm going to give you 10 matches that you should go back and watch this year. It's going to debut. It's going to drop on ringer.com before Christmas. But I'm like, man, it was hard to come up with 10 matches, actually 13, because I had 3 honorable mentions. But there were so many great matches this year, but also so many great stories that they did all this. And guess what? Our tribal chief was sitting home eating dinner with his family, and his wife was loving it.
Man, using up all his PTO.
But that just goes
PTO, you don't leave an absence child.
Right. But it also goes to show that everyone was saying, like, oh, they're just sending everything Roman Reigns. They can cook with, look what the show did. I was not even thinking about my tribal chief, like, on Saturday. Like, I was so into, y'all watch Young Rock?
Not the high chief.
The high chief, I'm done.
I just haven't seen my tribal chief in a while, so I just had to pay him like a little bit of respect, you know.
We know, girl. We know.
You know?
We know, babes.
But so everyone, I've been getting a lot of mixed reactions online about just him in general. So we talked about his return, but why do you think this particular return is so polarizing? But when you really think about it, wrestlers jump back and forth, come back to WWE. Bret Hart came back to WWE. Like, literally, it's never say never. So why is this such a sore spot? Like, why does CM Punk evoke so much passion in people to where fans are literally willing to scream his name for 10 years? I'm exaggerating. With no sign of him ever even coming back. What is it, do you think? Because like the thing is, like, go ahead, Seindole.
I can only compare, the only person that I know, well, personally that I know has the same eviction when they were around was Bam Bam Bigelow. If you know the story of Bam Bam Bigelow, he was very much like small town guy, grew up in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, South Jersey kid, loved to wrestle. So the minute that you saw him on his screen and you were from Jersey, you cheered for him. So when he made it to WWE, it was a huge deal. And remember his run in WWE, it's memorable. So, but you have to understand, like, I didn't think that Bam Bam Bigelow's like cult following was a cult following until I went to Neptune. I went back home to Neptune, New Jersey. Shout out to Vaughn. He knows that. I went back home and they have shirts. They have sandwiches named after this man. There's a library wing named after him. Like, it's a big deal. So I can only equate to, this is what every wrestler that's from a hometown who struggled and made a dream out of something hopes to evict in their people. Like, how many wrestlers you know from Chicago that you can name off the back that literally broke the mold, that made ESPN, that made headlines, that invoked like a passion, like a hope in a town? and Punk's one of them for his hometown. Like, it's weird. Like, and mind you, Chicago is on the top 5. It's like on a Mount Rushmore of wrestling towns. Philly being probably a close second. Canada, I don't know who's number 1. I don't want to offend nobody's city, but like Chicago is a wrestling town. They root for their people. Like, these are people that literally hate they hate anything that opposes the Red Sox or the White Sox. And Brian, you probably know, like, rival teams are rival teams. Like, when a rival team shows up to that town, they don't play at all. And I can only think that Punk is just somebody that's defended because he's the home team for them. It's weird. We never understand it. You don't have to understand. You got to be there to understand it. But I think it's just the fact that when he first came out and that pipe bomb dropped, a lot of people like to joke around like, "Oh, the pipe bomb was just him complaining." Blah, blah, blah. But be somebody that's where he's from, and they've seen everything that he's going to. They're going to root for him no matter what because they're passionate about their people. They defend their people. We do it all the time. I defend the brothers. Hello, I root for everybody black. How long I've been saying that? I'm the one dancing whoop that trick all the time. I was like, listen, I'm gonna root for everybody. I'm gonna root for everybody that's me because I see, like, if they can make it, I can make it. And I think that's what it is about Punk. Like, you know how many wrestlers from Chicago have emerged, like Sky Blue, Core Jade, who like loves him. A lot of people that are from that area, like, he gave those people hope because look at how far he got, even though it was a lot of pushback from him, whether it be storyline or not real, what caused him to quit or whatnot. Look how many people he invoked passion in. He's just a passionate person to be around. Yes, he's not without controversy. We get it. But I would be remiss to not understand if he's such a problem person. But remember, there's also people that literally thank him for being who he is and being motivational to them. And we've seen that. So I
But
think
I
it's
think
just
it's deeper than
being
that. More
right.
than Chicago. I think also the reason why that there were so many Stone Cold Steve Austin comparisons during the height of his popularity was simply because Austin represented something different than what we was getting
Right.
in pro wrestling at that time. You didn't
Right.
see a beer swilling somebody who was challenging authority. Like Shawn Michaels challenged authority backstage, right? But if we want to be honest, Stone Cold started before DX really went and took off. Austin was already doing it, you know, going up against Gorilla Monsoon, you know, constantly bucking against the system. And people felt the connection. We as children, we didn't until we got to corporate America. And then we, you know, I remember vividly when me and Dwayne used to work at Best Buy together. He said, "Now you see why Stone Cold delivered so many stunners." And I was like, "Yo, you're right." And we saw, like, as a child, we just thought it was like, "Oh, this is cool." No, the corporation was literally what we see in corporate America. So you fast forward to CM Punk, and you see that he was representing because he was the one that broke through. He was the smaller guy from a Ring of Honor, from an independent wrestling promotion, the WWE. Okay, we'll give him a chance. But then he had an advocate in the back of Paul Heyman, said, "No, give him a shot, give him a shot." And then that opened the door. It's the reason why Seth Rollins said he hates the fact that he had to talk bad about him, but he called him a hypocrite. This is what he said in Shoot stuff. He said because
you
the
watched
guy
my TikTok.
I did. Shout out to your TikTok. Because you know, but you helped me get the exact words. He hate the fact he had to talk bad about somebody who did so much for his career. If it wasn't for CM Punk walking out, we do not, as much as I hate to say it, admit it, that is true, we do not get the Yes movement. Daniel Bryan said in his book that it was going to be him and Sheamus for the third fucking year at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And you know, CM Punk walking out, the fans was behind Daniel Bryan. It was to the point they said, "Okay, you know what? We hear you." A lot of that stuff was real, but it was because CM Punk was the voice of the voiceless. Now, did he have his own agenda? Of course. The guy wanted to get his money.
He's a professional wrestler. Of course, he had a fucking agenda.
Exactly.
He's a wrestler also
you know
that knew he was a wrestler working with someone who at the time was making bank just by doing the 5 moves of doom. Of course he wanted the spotlight. He thought, and now I'm glad that Peacock put back up Best in the World because
Yo, they had the joint hitting, didn't they?
Yo, we
They
said
had it
right when
hidden.
they said
They had it in the cut.
publish.
They had it in the cut.
Make it
Then
live.
they said, oh, he's back. He's back. Up.
It's
Wait,
like
what do we
we've had
have
this
here?
shit in drafts for
A
8 years. Thank
playlist?
you.
They're like a
An
playlist.
archive,
Don't
dog.
mind if we drop it. So
Imagine all the people overseas. If Dylan's here or anybody who's overseas that's got the WWE network still, the good stuff. Imagine what they saw that night.
So to for him to literally say, he was like, what he said about the Miz main eventing, and let's not be wrong. I feel like I was opposite of that, because I felt like, listen, if anybody deserves to be the main event, is Miz, because Miz put up with a lot of shit too. So hello. I felt him when he said, I have nothing against the Miz. I think he's a great guy. I think he's this, I think he's that, but he didn't deserve to main event WrestleMania. And I felt that, because it's like, okay, I can get everything that they threw at CM Punk, like he literally gets pulled in, and it's not pulled in because he's talented. They pulled him in because he did have buzz. And I give Michael Hayes, a lot of people don't like Michael Hayes, but Michael Hayes is a straight shooter, because he literally said in an interview, he was like, they didn't really look at his talent. We pulled in the guy that had the most buzz. And when he got to OVW, it was like, okay, this is what you gave me. This is the guy that you guys were crazy about to sign. Okay, let's see where it goes. And they weren't really going to give him a chance. But Paul Heyman saw something in him, and he's like, do you guys know what you have? You have liquid gold. You have somebody that's going to be on somebody's Mount Rushmore, and you guys are wasting your time putting him in OVW. And they're like, well, he doesn't even belong like here. So what he wants to do. And Heyman, God bless the fact that he got to put ECW on what was it on? Sci-Fi? No, it was on TNT the first time, right?
It was Sci-Fi.
Yeah, so he got the rights to do ECW, and he put Punk. And the way that the people reacted to Punk even debuting, I was like, this is why Paul Heyman is such a visionary, Hall of Fame bound, I hope, because he saw it, and Punk credits his career to Paul Heyman. And I think where the momentum definitely did get killed was when Heyman had left after that whole debacle. But what I give Punk credit for was that, all right, I'm not going to let y'all treat me less than, because I know I'm not less than. I'm going to keep shooting for the stars, but I'm going to be patient with you guys. And he was patient. He's a 2-time Money in the Bank winner. He's a 2-time Money in the Bank winner. He cashed in twice. He's a world heavyweight champion. They didn't want that. He then does again the World Heavyweight Championship run, has one of the best feuds with Undertaker on SmackDown, has a run with Jeff Hardy that people will never forget. People don't forget that at all. Literally creates his own stable. And I don't care what anybody thinks. I was at a live show in Atlantic City when this man had somebody spit on him because they hated the Straight Edge Society. You know how much passion you have to make somebody hate you for that shit to work? Like, he had that much passion evoked in everything he did. So you're talking to somebody who tries everything they do, and no matter what roadblock they give you, it's just roadblock after roadblock after roadblock.
Seindole, you cooking tonight, but let me add something else to you, because you got something that you teed up, and I don't know if you saw it yet. You got a fastball coming down your way. CM Punk is like Jackie Robinson, and here's how. When you brought up the fact that he was in the Indies and they kept talking about this buzz, right? If we want to be honest, maybe he wasn't the best wrestler, but he had the most buzz. Yeah, and he was the only person who could handle it. Could they have brought in an AJ Styles to put in that position, a Bryan Danielson, a Tyler Black? Could they have brought them in? Maybe. But would they have been able to handle everything that CM Punk had to go through? And that's the point you just made. Like, all the stuff that they tried to push him down, and he kept going. And, and I know this will kind of really become a Punk appreciation night, but when you really look at everything that he's done, that is why when he was in AEW, he couldn't stand working with children. That is why I personally would not blame him for the whole Jungle Boys debacle, because at the end of the day, it was about safety. Right. And he was saying, maybe we shouldn't have been fighting, but it was about safety. It wasn't about him. He was saying, dude, like, don't do that. Like, try something else. So I think, I'm not sure, Colt 603, Seindole, Justin P, do y'all know if he faced AJ Styles? I'm not sure if they faced off in TNA.
They did in the indie circuit. They did when they were in Ring of Honor. They did have a run in Ring of Honor. It was very short. because
Mhm.
it wasn't as Ring of Honor wasn't formatted like it is now. It was
Right.
very short, but they did have a few matches together.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so like and like I said, with
Okay.
everything you just said, man, it's just it's amazing to see. This is why and you know, this is why he said he's back home. Because now he
Hmm.
can chill and he can get money and he can
And
make where he made the most buzz because that's what made the name CM Punk go from magazine worthy to billboard worthy.
right, right. I mean, it's the major leagues. Like at the end of the day, that's you want to be in WWE. Let's not get it twisted. And we
Mhm.
said, I think, in previous fan clubs that CM Punk probably realized when he went to AEW that he's way more of a WWE guy than he probably thought. You know, it was
'Cause-
like, oh
and
shit,
let me be
like, where
real
am
with
I? I need to. What the fuck?
like
Mhm.
Patricia, you gonna laugh when I say "Glock keep it a stack." You know, I could think of two scenarios where that's probably what happened.
Mm,
So remember when Christian went to Impact
Mhm.
and
mm-hmm.
he had that really good run, and then he disappeared off TV 2 months to show back up in WWE.
Yep.
Um, Dave and I don't like to credit this guy because I think he's a liar, but Dave Meltzer, because Christian backed him up like a few months later. Dave Meltzer was the one who said that the reason you'll see Christian back is because Christian went to Impact and said he was miserable. He straight up
Mm,
admitted he was miserable. He said he hated it. He hated the format. There's no real structure. He said that creative doesn't understand the concept of continuity, so he left.
mm.
Another person who had that same issue is the person we're all hoping finishes his story is Cody Rhodes. We still don't know the answer as to why he left. He refuses to talk about it.
Yeah, I
Won't
appreciate
say
that.
why I left.
He won't say why I left. But we all kind of
Oh, but
figured
you know what?
why
I
he
We
can't
left.
wait
all know
for
And I want to
why.
shine out. And wait, hold on, Brian. I want to shout out Kaz because I need everybody to watch the clip that Kaz posted on his Twitter of the last promo Cody had because that really
January
does open the
2022.
cracks. Yes, that really does open the crack as to why Cody left.
That is, I actually want to go back and look at that because I am very intrigued by that. And I appreciate that Cody isn't like on the interview podcast circuit talking about, what happened. I think because it's like, you know what, you're back in WWE. I want to watch you in WWE, and that's
And
that.
he probably can't, because I know people were looking at that Punk
Right.
promo on Monday, and they're like, "Why didn't he hook off on AEW? Why isn't he going on AEW? That was a mid promo." Because he probably can. Let me
Yeah.
open up the curtain
Right.
as someone that works in legal and explain some things to you. Things like a non-disclosure agreement, where probably when he got released from AEW, him and Tony and the lawyers had to sit down and they're like, "All right,
Yeah.
non-compete for 90 days. We're going to let you out of your contract. You can't say one bad thing about AEW or we're coming for your fucking livelihood and your kids and AJ. Like, do not say fucking anything bad about us."
And he's
And
been dealing with
probably
enough
there's some shit in
issues.
there where AEW can't hook off on him either.
Yeah.
And
Because
he's not going to
remember,
violate a legal binding agreement just to make some fucking wrestling fans happy. Because I know,
right.
because that was the thing that I was seeing on social media was like, well, he didn't go on AEW because they probably can't. And also, why would you? Like, you won. You got to leave a toxic environment
It's a
in
happy punk.
AEW where the fucking EVPs are sitting there doing like a celebratory dance around the ring that you're gone.
And also and people wonder why I hate the
Yes,
elite, and I
please.
still I still say fuck the elite because they went on to
I
make
agree.
fun of his injury. They literally like people miss that they had a match with at Hangman Page, and Matt does a buckshot and pretends he hurt himself. I'm sorry, Phil. I'm glad you don't have to work with children either, because what the actual hell? And that's why I get what Justin's saying, because a lot of people were like, well, why didn't he go off? Like, remember Tony Khan, they asked Tony Khan about it, and Tony Khan was like, I can't talk about it right now. So if Tony Khan can't talk about it right now, don't you think that's a big hint of legally we can't do this? And then Justin said 90-day clause. It hasn't been 90 days. So it
Right.
had to be an agreement of, listen, Punk, we let you go from your contract, you keep your money, you could do whatever you want, just don't badmouth us. Don't talk about us. Let's leave where everything was. You don't talk about us. We don't talk about you. If you do break this cause, we'll just retaliate in our own way. And Punk probably agreed. A lot of people were bringing up the disciplinary. I don't know why that even leaked today because we didn't need it. The whole disciplinary committee thing. How do we not know that Punk, after being tired of everything that happened, said, "Dude, just cut me loose"? How do we know? But we don't know because it's best
Right.
not to talk about it. It's
Right.
just best
Well,
not
because
to.
we're getting the disciplinary thing, because that's the problem with AEW, where their shit leaks out to where, why are we even finding out this information? Why are you even leaking this information where it's
Right. Why are
this
you
and that?
throwing Daniel Bryan under the bus?
And here's why, because they see, oh fuck, not only did he go back to WWE, but you see the fucking reaction he got. WWE
Yeah,
couldn't
but
wait to put out like, yo, Survivor Series did the biggest gate of all time. Did the social CM Punk announcing that he's back did so much social media engagement, YouTube shit, that in like years, people that haven't watched wrestling in a while tune into Monday Night Raw to see what the fuck Punk was saying. And it was something that, shout out to Issa, because Issa's really been on this, where it's
I
like,
was just about to say
Punk
go
Punk
ahead.
was your cash cow in AEW, and you let him go back home to fucking WWE.
Where they can
Guess
do
what's
more and better.
and better, because guess what's coming up? I know Brian said we're not in WrestleMania season. Technically, we are, because we don't have no PLEs for the rest of this year until
We got
Royal
only
Rumble.
Deadline, and it's an NXT pay-per-view.
Exactly.
That's
So
all. That's
technically,
it.
we are in WrestleMania season, going into Royal Rumble season, and that's another reason why CM Punk came back. Because you know what's bigger than All In? Wrestle fucking Mania, especially
Yep.
when it's the 40th
You know what's bigger than
anniversary
AEW in
in
And
Philadelphia.
now it's not night one. Now it's not what he had to deal with in the past. Because remember, he was only fighting for one slot. There's 2 nights.
But look, check this out. Michael Cole's reaction was everything.
Oh
That
yeah.
that fist move, that was, we just stuck it to him.
Even
Yep.
Corey Graves' reaction was like, "This motherfucker's back."
Yeah, but
Like,
like
he was like, "This motherfucker's back, but he about to make us some fucking bread." So I just had to shut up and take the shit.
no facts. Like I was at Best Buy when Circuit City went down, and I'm dating myself when I say Circuit
Yeah,
City.
you are.
But
Yeah.
I remember the managers was like, oh, through the, yeah, congratulations, we just stuck at the circuit. And when I saw Michael Cole like do the, because I'm pretty sure he was tipped off, and then the music hit, like that was such a beautiful video. Like I loved seeing like those type of videos. And when he did that fist bump, it was like, we got him. We got Punk back, we got the crowd, and they gave the reaction that they was looking for. And that's the thing. Do not turn off wrestling until the screen is
Yep.
black.
Yep.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I remember
Exactly. Like
in the
for
press,
all of those that people that fell for their fucking, oh, there's the credits. It's like, bro, do you not realize who's
Yo,
in
do you
control of this
know
shit? Triple H loves to fucking toy with us with the, here come the
people
credits.
were
You know the
walking
shit ain't over.
out? People were walking
they put
out
the
of all
thing
stage.
on
And as soon as they heard, as soon as you heard the dude, like people were leaving.
Oh yeah. Well, we were already got escorted off to the press conference, and I remember turning on my Peacock on my phone, and Wilkins was like, "What are you doing?" And I was just like, "You don't know, like something else is about to happen," because that happened to me and Brian H. Waters. Were in Royal Rumble, we were taken to the back before the whole turn as well, and we got to experience it like with in the press box with media. So it's like you just. It like you just knew in the air like something else big was about to happen. Like you just kind of knew it. But I
Triple
want
H
to
treats
get
those end
into
credits like it's like a Marvel movie, where it's like
right.
like with Marvel movies, even when the credits are rolling, it's like you can't leave because they got end credit like scenes that they're gonna show. That's Triple H. He's been doing this since like
Yeah, he was doing that in
fucking
NXT.
yeah. I'm thinking like, because
it's all
Takeover
about the
Philly, he was
experience.
definitely doing that. That was the one where Ciampa came back off the torn ACL and beat the shit out of Gargano after Gargano and Andrade tore the house down.
Yes. Oh my God, you right, because they did roll the credits, and then all of a sudden you saw Ciampa. I was like, wait, you giving us an extra 15 minutes? What the heck is going?
Oh, I
And he
was
turned
there.
on him. Yo,
Yeah, I was there
It's
for
we
that. We were
watched.
like,
TV again. Wrestling is
Oh my
must.
it was
God.
like, holy shit. But then I went even nuts because like I already got my Mania tickets, and I know that means Gargano Ciampa's going down in New Orleans. But that was one of those that's like, yeah, you can't leave after the credits, dude.
Right,
Can't do
right.
that in a Triple H run show.
Definitely not. So let's get into some of these comments and some of the unpopular opinions, because I did mark some that we could talk about. So Andre actually said this in the beginning of the show. And I'm curious to see what Seindole thinks about this because she's also a Will Ospreay fan as well. So CM Punk obviously is a needle mover. I think that's like pretty obvious. But is he the best in the world? Like that's the thing. Like because again, like being a professional wrestler is not just about wrestling ability, it's about the buzz. It's about the
Right.
it's about all of that, having good dance partners. But is Will Ospreay the best in the world? Like over Punk?
He's
Like
he's 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 forging his own path and he's getting there. And let me tell you why. Yeah, like I said this, and shout out to Friend and shout out to the family over at Black Wrestling for letting me deliver the most powerful sermon I probably ever delivered on a space on Turnbuckle Talk every Tuesday
Yes,
on
you
X,
did.
formerly known as Twitter. Um, a lot of these guys, and this is why people should, and I don't want to say kiss the ring, but a lot of the people should thank the CM Punks and the Daniel Bryans of the world, because these were guys that went through the mud in the indies and were told they would never make made TV and made that shit work. They made it work. They made it work their own way. They made the path their own way. They worked the system their own way, and they will forever both be. I think CM Punk's the best in the world for that. Talent aside, he did one thing that a lot of wrestlers want to do, that the Hogans and the Rocks and the Stone Colds and the Bruno San Martinos have done, and that's create a formula that will work for someone who wants to be in their shoes. And that's exactly what Punk has done. That's what Daniel Bryan, the Yes Movement, did, whether you like it or not. But remember who they were before that, going to New Japan, being in the indies, doing the backyard wrestling. They did it all. They did everything that people would, when they go to WWE, would make a stink face to. But they did it and didn't care, but still made it in WWE their own way. I think, and that's why I say Will Ospreay is on his way there, because you have to understand how New Japan, even outside of New Japan, me, Patricia, Krista, and CRISPA love all my girls, by the way. After brunch, we were like, listen, this girls' night. We're watching Impact. The way that man cooked, even on an Impact pay-per-view, this
yeah.
man could do no wrong. In the AEW, his matches with Kenny Omega, his match with Jericho, his matches, period. This man is literally somebody who is on Triple H, is still on Triple H's radar. Because to hell with what Tony did. He's still waiting. Triple H is not stupid. He's still waiting to win. Because guess what? Will Ospreay can literally do this run and say, okay, what else is left for me to do? Let me go to the company I can't go to. And it's fine. Because guess who did it? AJ Styles. And AJ Styles had did the New Japan Pro Wrestling and ruled TNA with an iron fist as the youngest, as a young talent coming up, and made his own path. That's fine. But what I'm telling you, yes, I still think that CM Punk's the best in the world for creating that formula. I still think Daniel Bryan's the GOAT, but I feel like the next person who is the next up as the best in the world, because of everything they're doing their run, and I can definitely see him in WWE in the future, is Will Ospreay. Point blank period. Because if it wasn't for the Punks and the Daniel Bryans and the AJ Styles and who else, shout some names to me, Justin, because I know I'm missing people. I know I'm missing like the Alex Shelley's, the fucking Christopher Daniels, all of them created a
Even
formula that
Ricochet. There was once upon a time
Ricochet.
where Ricochet was a much bigger name than Will Ospreay was.
Hello, I'm looking at the indie guys, the people that I know that I've seen wrestle. I know Carmelo Hayes is definitely in the timeline to be a main eventer. You had Bronson Steiner do a 2-month stint in the indie circuit because his father told him, you need to shake the rust off of you. They all have followed the formula that led to a smaller success, that when CM Punk came in, oh, he's from the indie circuit. Okay, who cares? They all now to the point where does WWE look besides NIL, the indie circuit? Why? Because the formula worked. And who gave them that formula? Who started that formula?
I'm sorry, but just like my man Jay Uso said, you
Oh
got to
God.
come to the big leagues. You
Period.
cannot be
Period.
considered the
We
best
need a
in the
church.
world.
We need a church song behind all this in the promos cut. Go ahead.
You cannot be considered the best in the world unless you do it at the big stage.
Hello.
Unless these levels were even, like WCW was, you could make the argument that Sting and Ric Flair you could have made an argument for them being the best in the world in WCW, because guess what? WCW was over WWE. To me, the best in the world is Seth Rollins, because you get the mix of both wrestling. Seth Rollins would be, the thing is, he's the only reason why he's not like the tippity top, because he's playing in the same time Roman Reigns is. It's just like I said with Macho Man. He's the Macho Man to Reigns being Hogan. But Seth Rollins is the best in the world because he's on the billboards. He's still somebody who's a needle mover.
But so was Punk. But so was Punk. But who gave him? But I get it.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm making the point that Will Ospreay is not the best in the world. That's my point.
He's getting there. You don't think he's getting there?
Not until I see him do it in the big leagues. Because guess what?
Okay.
You can play nice. Christian was the number one guy in Impact, but he still couldn't crack that glass ceiling because he wasn't Edge.
You're right. You're right.
I will add this to the argument, because you guys are saying Will Ospreay is not the best in the world. I'm going to slightly disagree and just edit it with Will Ospreay is the best in the world this year, because no one's had a better fucking year in 2023 than William Ospreay. William Ospreay has been doing it in multiple companies. I know Brian's talking about the big leagues. Let's not shit on New Japan Pro Wrestling, because New Japan sells out the fucking Tokyo Dome for Wrestle Kingdom and has been doing that for a long time. Versus AEW. I hear you, but at the same time, here's the thing. We have this thing called the internet and social media where we can kind of look at clips from over there and then tend to have them trend on social media, especially when it's like a big pay-per-view that involves Will Ospreay, because then you see clips go viral and shit like that. Like AEW, okay, we can say they're not big league. They just, for the first time, did a big major stadium show with All In. Whereas New Japan's been doing Tokyo Dome for a long fucking time. So I'm going to put a little bit more respect on New Japan, especially where people know about New Japan. People know about New Japan World and sign up for it. And Will Ospreay's been the face of New Japan for, like, honestly, you could debate the last 2 years whether it's him or Okada. But, like, people know who Ospreay is. That's how you get on WWE's radar. Now, I will give you this, Brian. WWE is the fucking major leagues. Everything else is kind of second place or third place, wherever it falls out. I'm just going to put more respect on Will Ospreay's name, because what he's done this year, he is the best in the world right the fuck now.
Yes, he is. I'm sorry.
My thing is, I understand what y'all saying, but I don't live in a wrestling bubble. I live in the sports entertainment, because that's where
that's where we're always going to clash. Because
but guess what? Let's go to the social media numbers. Will Ospreay doesn't even have 500. No, he doesn't have 300,000 followers.
He just got back on social media, so you can't do that. You can't do that.
Beyonce don't tweet. John Moxley had more followers and he don't post. So it's not about whether you're there. It's the people who find you. So no, it's like, I understand we love pro wrestling, but pro wrestling, and this is the problem that the Young Bucks and the Elite don't understand, pro wrestling doesn't move the needle. It's sports entertainment. That's the reason why Seth Rollins is the best in the world, because he found a way to entertain, and then he can roll in with the best of them. Until I see these guys that the internet loves, with all due respect, I can't call them the best in the world. I can call them the best pro wrestler in the world. I can call them the best grappler in the world. But as far as being the complete package that CM Punk was in 2011, I can't do that. They're not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why one wrestling company is $1 billion fucking company, and let's just put it that way. You know, like, whatever people are going to consider what the major leagues are is really, like, depends on, like, what you watch, what your orbit is. Like, if you like you said, I personally live in the sports entertainment bubble as well, where I didn't know who Will Ospreay was a year ago. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't consider him a household name.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that he might not be the best wrestler in the world. But when you're good at something, you want to be somewhere where you're getting paid the most to do it.
Mm-hmm. I want a WWE monopoly. That was good.
So if we could go back to that Julia comment. So, and I get what you two are both saying.
Mm-hmm.
However, that's the biggest gripe that we have in our space, especially in the internet wrestling community, is the biggest gripe we have. There's an argument that this is going to go on forever. Wrestling versus sports entertainment, it's going to go on forever. It's going to go on forever because WWE is a machine. It is a machine. It is now a even bigger machine because the same machine running UFC has now worked with WWE. That's inevitable. I hate that we're discrediting the fact, and I think that's a lot of people do that. We're discrediting that you can't be a sports entertainer without being a wrestler first. And WWE cracked that code with the NIL students because they took the most talented in their sector. You got Jada Parker, who played softball. You got Kalani Jordan, who's a third gold collegiate gymnast. You got black belt girls. You got former volleyball players. You have them all. Great. But we can't discredit the girls that literally wrestled men in the ring to get to where they are. And that's why I'd be like, listen, Roxanne Perez wouldn't be Roxanne Perez if she hadn't gotten from her little town in Lardo, gotten on a 3-hour bus to go train at Booker T's independent wrestling company, because that's what it was. It wasn't a sports entertainment training complex. It was a wrestling school to learn how to wrestle, to be the youngest Ring of Honor champion. And guess whose radar it was? Booker T got in that room and he was like, you want girls? You want somebody who's going to be who's one of the best. You want somebody who's going to entertain and inspire little girls. You need to put Roxanne Perez in that company. She got a tryout. She got a chance. Cora Jade, same thing. You can't. I hate that.
I get your point, Seindole, but there's also a reason why these people don't go to the Indies and on Raw the next night.
I understand
There's a reason why the Performance Center exists. So you still have to, even the black belt girls, you still have to learn how to be a sports entertainer.
And that's my point. And that's my point, because even against that argument, and I like that somebody in your press conference asked about Jade Cargill, because as much as you could put Jade Cargill in our screen, in our face, and we know I love that girl. She can never do me wrong ever. I would be remiss to be in complete denial that it is smart at what Triple H is doing by not putting that girl on TV, knowing she is still green. He said it in the best way he could. She was literally restricted. And we know why she was restricted. That reign was a joke. She didn't get the chance. Even when she came back, she had to drop the belt. She only had that comeback and said, I'm leaving. She wasn't featured as much. She was your buzz for social media. And even at that, when you put her on a buzz, on a press, she had to do her own thing. You gave her that belt to hold for a year just for it to have some buzz and just to say, oh, the women have another belt. That's all you did. You barely featured it on your pay-per-views. And a lot of people, I can't forgive AEW for doing that. I can't forgive them for doing that, because she was a gem. She got taught by Daniel freaking Bryan. Her and CM Punk are like this because he also put his 2 cents in and helped her. But I like that Triple H really admitted, he's like, I'm working with her. There's a different environment here. We're going to make sure that when anything comes at that girl, she's ready. And only a sports machine could do that.
Right. 1,000%. And let's be real, and we'll go back to CM Punk now, but let's be real. Everyone's end goal at some point, even people that go to Booker T's wrestling school, best believe he's grooming them for WWE. That's the goal. I would put money on that. And and it just is what it is. Whatever you prefer, sports entertainment, wrestling. If you think about it, CM Punk was supposed to be the anti-sports entertainment guy. So you know that so
he started as the anti-establishment,
right? But guess what?
Real punk rock star.
Okay, but where does he feel like is his home?
Sports entertainment.
WWE as a fucking sports entertainer. So
exactly,
there you go.
Right. You're right.
But with Punk, a lot of people were trying to figure out when he should actually get in the ring and wrestle. Is that Rumble? Is that when is that? Or do we do the Jay Cargill? Or do we do the whole, have him do promos every week and we see?
I would prefer him to do the Jay Cargill, because child. And it's, listen, that match with him and Samoa Joe, perfect. One of the best matches tonight. Best way to go out. the man is green. I'm sorry. Like
green.
Is green the white word or is
he's not okay,
I don't
maybe
even
not
know
green.
what
He's
Rusty.
rusty. He is. His age shows. I hate to say it that way. His age shows. He needs to be in them with them young boys.
Oh, we see
I
them
don't
widow's
know.
peaks. Them peaks got peaks on top of peaks.
He listen.
Okay, wait. So
Listen.
let's see how old
My
is CM Punk.
that match. Listen, he just looks better. Like look at the
Look at the bags under his eyes, man. That man was
he was
looking
stressed
good.
tired. He was stressed out with them kids, man.
Look in his eyes. What do I see? Multiple
He look
bags
healthier,
underneath
he looks
thee.
younger.
Like
his merch is better. Like
I don't know. Shout out to whatever concealer they use, because goddamn, he looked like me.
Okay,
He
so
looked like me before I go out in the club. But I'm just saying, like there needs to be. There
I
needs
don't
to
need to see
be.
him wrestle until WrestleMania. To be
I don't.
honest,
Yeah, I'm with Justin. That's why I'm getting at.
look,
I don't need to see him
we
wrestle
don't
yet.
at this
He
point.
needs to get back in the ring and shake off the dust and be a sports entertainment guy that we know he could be. Like the reason why people were excited about seeing Randy Orton, and mind you, I was scared because this is somebody who had a double fusion back surgery and did what he did Saturday. I was clutching pearl.
Wow.
And then me, when we were on the show, Janelle was like, "You might not even get snapback, Randy." I said, "No, I know Randy Orton. We're getting snapback, Randy. There's no way that man went to the performance center and was with them kids without giving a snapback, Randy." Like, so if Punk can pack up Larry and find a house in Florida and go hang out with them, if I see that, I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's definitely ready for the Rumble." But if I don't see that, I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it.
So I'm gonna say, because I saw the comment too, like he definitely has to wrestle before a Rumble. And here's why. I hear you, Brian, that save it for Mania. Mania is 5 fucking months away. Rumble is 2 months away. That is too long to have CM Punk cut promos or be on TV without wrestling one damn match. Nah. I gotta see how you look in a WWE ring, just like we need to see how you look in the AEW ring. You gotta shake off them cobwebs and whatnot because it's been a little bit since the summer. Plus, we gotta see how you look going into Rumble, and then Rumble is gonna lead to what is gonna be your program for Mania. Sitting out for 5 months and being
well, not
idle.
just Rumble. We also the only other last ditch effort I could see is Elimination Chamber.
But the comment
I
right
hear
there is
you.
exactly what I meant.
I see that comment. My retort to that comment is, while yes, you got the PC that's gonna help too. You also don't want to give the fans any additional reason to be hijacking shows, asking for Punk when Punk's not on there. Because that was the problem when Punk left, and then the crowds at W Universe going to be W Universe and hijack shows and be like, we want Punk or else. Like, you don't want that either.
Right.
Like, if you have,
it was a lot of hijacking.
If you signed him, use him.
I mean, if he's there, that's the point though. Like, they just wanted to see him there. He's going to be there. They have a performance center, just like the person said in the comments. They have a performance center. He can have wrestling matches. I just don't need to see him wrestle in front of a crowd. It's not like he needs to learn how to work the camera or work in front of a crowd. I get there's a different type of adrenaline, but as far as I'm concerned, to P's question, when should we see him wrestle? I would be fine, building, and then boom, it happens at WrestleMania. Meanwhile, backstage, behind the scenes, he's working and getting himself ready for that. But I mean, obviously, I don't think they'll do that. I'm, if I was the quote unquote fantasy book, I see something where Seth Rollins is, defeats Drew McIntyre or Jey Uso or whomever, holds on to the title, and then there's a showdown in the ring. And then, we get the match that way, and maybe a warm-up match for him at the Elimination Chamber, because I'm pretty sure, that's international. So as John Moxley just beat Jay Lethal on that Continental Classic. But, the people over in Perth, they're going to want to see him. So I could see them probably working him into a match over there. But personally, I wouldn't mind. I would love if they could hold that off. Just because sometimes it's just, like that's one of the things that made Cody and Roman so special, because they didn't touch. They didn't touch until WrestleMania, and
Cody touched other people. Pause.
But the point is that you know
One more time.
Yo, we haven't kicked you out the club in a while. That's
Brian
fine.
teed that one up. I had a fucking mini remix that one.
But I'm saying though, like we you know, it'll be interesting, you know. But I don't want to see him wrestling on Raw, you know, and also I'm percent preserve because you know I'm a little frail.
Yeah, and I think too, but the best part about I think CM Punk's career is that
You put that up and then try to be.
I know.
Try to
That's
say
how to make a
See,
serious point.
Dylan, we right here. It's like, bro, 5 months is too long to have him not touch
Dylan, how far is
anybody
Chris
on
from you?
TV on the way to
Pause.
Mania. It's like, bro, you gotta like wrestle somebody
How
to
far
tell
is
these
Chris
stories.
from Dylan? Yeah, I want to know, is he going to the show?
He probably gonna hop on the
yeah, he
kangaroo and
wants to
hop
do
over
it.
there, yo.
Hello.
Let's go.
If Dylan is not in the building, I will, dude. Dylan,
We gotta make something happen.
you gotta make some. We will listen. If I gotta send $25, whatever Australian equivalent it is to it, to get you on whatever bus plane, kangaroo to get your ass over there, you better be over there. I better see pictures, Dylan. I want photographs. I want photographs.
We want Dylan. We want Dylan.
Dylan doing 100 pose in a kangaroo.
Oh, 6 hours by plane. He ain't
He
stepping in that
said,
plane.
nope, never mind.
Whoa.
Never mind. Never mind.
Hey, he said
Stay home, baby.
All right. Well,
That sound like San
damn, Dylan just
Antonio
got
to
a
me.
pipe bomb on Perth.
so I am one of
He
those.
said nobody likes that place. God
He said,
damn.
fuck that place. Well, thank you for telling us.
Yeah,
Because-
thank you for letting
Dylan
us
basically
know.
said that place is like Tampa.
Ooh, nah, I can't talk shit about Tampa
Stop.
yet. Until I'm back
Stop.
then we can.
Don't do that.
Oh, let me get this kicked out of club thing ready. But what I appreciate and really respect about CM Punk's career is the fact that he is most iconic on a microphone. I think most people appreciate that most about him. So, like, does he really need to wrestle before? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a testament to him and his draw power to where, like, because how long was he in AEW before he wrestled? I remember at one point he was just like doing long ass promos.
It only took a month. His first big match was Darby Allin, and it's been started at the month, and the match was at the end of the month.
92. You know who took that long that didn't wrestle? From SummerSlam to WrestleMania? Or obviously Hulk Hogan.
But he's Hulk Hogan.
92 to 93. But he made his return. And to come back from he didn't wrestle.
But he's Hulk Hogan. I don't think we can compare the landscapes because you also have the IWC who's gonna be like, oh, WWE spent all this money on CM Punk and he didn't fucking wrestle. Like, what was the fucking point? Like, it's.
But then, and here's my thing. This is why. But here's my thing. You put that man out there to fucking wrestle, and he wrestles the way he did at AEW. They're going to still complain and cook him until he's well done. So what's the point?
But you know what's the difference is though? I'm glad you said that. I'm so glad you said it. The difference is because they try to outdo each other over there in spot. Right. Where WWE, they're gonna work together. They're gonna say, okay, we're gonna kind of hide your weaknesses because we know we gotta make money together. It's not about trying to outdo each other because the money, it just looked different. It's better. You just said it. When you look at the photos, you know, he glowed up that fast. You know, so like just boom.
That is true.
You know, even for that comeback,
he's in 4K.
Whoa.
Look at that. He's in
2023 or 2013.
He's in 4K. He's not in 240p.
You know,
but my thing is so the reason, and it's like the fans, bro, like y'all are never gonna be happy, and it's fine. Y'all never gonna be happy. It's fine. I don't give a fuck about y'all. I'm a fan. Punk cares about me, damn it. Punk cares about all the other fans that care about him. That's what he's back for. Right. And I give you the point, like they always will have some shit. This whole and just a little off topic, so I'm not gonna make it too long. This whole Lexus King situation. They're like, oh, why does he look like this? Why is he like that? Why is his haircut look douchey? Why is he acting like why is his promos like this? Y'all realize when he was in AEW, he had a blonde mullet and a fucking varsity jacket and was told to just go out there and be a tag team. He didn't get a chance to cut a promo. He didn't get a chance to be in character. The Performance Center, if anything, and I know that I forgot who's down there teaching promos now. Is down there teaching them how to do continuing Dusty's legacy, teaching them like, listen, you can't just give me a buckshot lariat and a big uppercut. You got to tell me a story. And as menacing as Lexus King is to this whole Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes storyline, look at how it's working because it's creating depth for him as a character. But guess what you got to do? You give it time to cook. You got the fans like raw meat, and that's the only way I can see it. Like these, you go to an expensive steakhouse in Morton's, and you ask them to give you an uncooked steak. That's the equivalent of what I feel about this fan base right now. Like at least give me medium well or medium done. You want uncooked steak? Let shit cook. Stop rushing the cook to the kitchen. Just stop.
I mean, quick sidebar: if CM Punk is pulling up to Florida, can he bring AJ? Because I want Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and AJ to have a fucking conversation. You talk about someone that would. She don't gotta be on TV. She don't gotta wrestle another match. But you know, someone that'd be great as a fucking coach, AJ Lee.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Like
I think the rumor.
wow.
Yeah, I think the rumor as to why she left WoW, a lot of people were, now that it's out, a lot of people, that's a opinion I saw on Twitter, was that hopefully she would be involved in some way. However, there is a lot of trauma behind that. If you read her book, and I told P this, the last few chapters of her book, and even if you don't read the book, listen to her interview on Renee Paquette's podcast. A lot of shit went down between Punk leaving and her being the Divas Championship, so Nikki Bella took it. That really took a toll on her. So for her, I think mentally, the desire has to be there. So I appreciate the fans that all of a sudden want to be stands because people didn't remember her. Let's be real about it. They didn't care until Punk came back. Let's be real honest about that. I care.
Oh, AJ Lee?
Yeah, a lot of people didn't. A lot of people forgot about her.
I don't think anyone ever forgot about AJ Lee.
Well, not her legacy and everything she's done. I think that the talk about her had calmed down because, you know, she wasn't there anymore. Let me put it that way. That's the best way to put it. But like everything she went through, like mentally, and everything she has to overcome, like everything she's done work-wise, like the girl's a screenplay writer. She has her own production company. She's doing a lot. So for her to she writes comic books and everything. So for her to come back and just be like, oh, I'm back in the wrestling thing, I think that's going to take a little bit more time than her husband just showing up in his hometown and be like, hey guys, I'm here. What's up? So I hope in my case for her that whatever they sit down, I want them to give her bank. I want her to, honestly, for everything she went through, I hope she matched her husband's salary. Let's be real honest here. Because they literally erased her like they erased her husband. And I don't think that's fair.
She sends her regards.
She said, and that's good enough for me, baby. And listen, my fantasy booking is that she comes back and mothers her daughter Roxanne Perez. We can get that on.
Oh my god, I'm still holding out hope because again, I would have bet my fucking salary that CM Punk wasn't coming back. So I'm still gonna hold out hope that we got wrong. Even if it's a Royal Rumble appearance, like it don't gotta be.
I hope so too. I would like that. Like to see. I would like to see her and Nikki Cross just looking at each other like psychopaths. I think that'd be gold. Like her and Nikki Cross just looking at each other, two crazy ass bitches in the middle of the ring.
See, that's what I'm saying.
That'd be gold.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of possibilities with her with NXT as far as like you could be a coach, you could be an on-screen like general manager, and Sean just runs the show. There's so many things that she could do that doesn't involve her actually wrestling in the ring. Like, if she don't want to do that, cool.
So, you know, we're also watching AEW as a family. Do you guys see this fucking nonsense here?
I'm trying not to. I'm only looking at Sting at
this is why what was it, like 2 or 3 fan clubs ago that I was like, old people need their own wrestling company. That way we can have the 65 and up.
They do have it. It's called AEW.
Oh shit! All elderly wrestling. All elderly wrestling. There you go.
Yo, that is hilarious. Oh my god, I wish I would have thought of that. That is so fucking funny.
And that's the thing. Like I said, when we went
if
to
you're 65 and up and you want to take a bump, come to AEW.
If they told you that you can't wrestle no more because of a standard injury, but you can move your hips from left to right, come to AEW.
Yo,
bro, y'all funny.
Oh my god. So we talked about like if AJ Lee comes back, like what our sort of dream booking and scenarios that we would book. What are some of your like dream CM Punk matches now that he's back? If this is his like last good run in WWE, who do you want to see him go against? Even just not a long-term feud, but who have you always wanted to see him wrestle? Who do you want to see him mix it up with?
My tribal chief. I want to see them go at it on the microphone.
Ooh.
You know, people want
I'm
to.
ready.
People like to come at Roman and say, you know, he ain't on that level and whatnot. Everybody want to say Punk is the best on the microphone and whatnot, which I don't think so. Let's see it. You know, the promos alone put Paul Heyman in a bind. You know, we've seen that with Brock Lesnar. Let's see whose side is he going to be on. It might be a slam dunk. Oh, of course he'd be on Roman's side, but you know, there's a soft spot for CM Punk. We saw it, you know, the documentaries, the conversations, you know, and then throw him up against Solo Sikoa. Throw him against, you know, let's go put him against LA Knight. Like I'm more about the microphone moments than the matches.
See, I want both.
Same.
I want both.
I want the microphone, but then I want the
him up
match.
against
And the
Sami
number one
Zayn.
person that comes to mind as far as the microphone and the match, and I don't know, I'm not sure if we've ever gotten this, seeing that they've both wrestled for a long time. I want to see CM Punk and Gunther.
Ooh.
I think that's going to be a very unique match where Gunther's more storytelling, more ground based. It's not a lot about spot fest and stuff like that, which works perfectly to where CM Punk is right now. And they could tell a fantastic ass story in that ring. And it's going to be very physical. And then on the mic, they're going to be going at each other. Like Gunther's low key like a fucking sniper on the mic.
Yeah.
Give me that.
I want to agree with this. The Tribal Chief Zo 9, I definitely want to see him in Shinsuke Nakamura. Hands down. I want to see that. I want to see the Ring of Honor lover in me wants to see him with Kevin Owens. I want to see that. I want to see I want to see him with Sami Zayn. I want all that programming. I want it all, baby. I told Brian in Chicago, I actually want Punk on SmackDown.
You did.
And I meant that. I think him and like, even if I could think NXT guys, can you imagine a him and Ilya Dragunov match? Like, come on.
Dragunov will send him to Jesus. Dragunov gonna send him to Jesus. He gonna come out with them red eyes, and Punk's gonna be like, "What the
Jesus,
fuck?"
I'm dead.
He's gonna be looking back how he did in
mistake.
AEW.
Yo, but you want Gunther? Gunther would retire. Gunther would cut him and Gunther. He'd be like, "I need another sabbatical." Because what the fuck, guys? He gonna need another sabbatical at the Gunther. What? The fucking chops alone. Are you kidding me? He gonna need tattoos to cover the tattoos that's bruised. What you mean? No.
I mean, if I can't get my ultimate dream match, which is Gunther and Ilya Dragunov just sending each other to Jesus, like,
we're gonna get
give
that.
me Gunther and
we're gonna get that before Germany. I'm sorry, because the draft comes after WrestleMania, and the Bash in Berlin is right after WrestleMania. Like, I think is it before or after Survivor Series?
Bash in Berlin is in August.
Yeah, so if they do Survivor Series in July again, look at the timeline. Like right now,
you mean SummerSlam?
SummerSlam. So before they get to Germany, they're definitely gonna either, if they don't draft Ilya Dragunov in this round, I'm done. Who did that? Who did that? Who did it?
Yo, Seindole, you're so pretty.
Right?
Thank you, Dylan, for using the best picture of me. By the way,
so pretty.
Can you? I need that sent to me ASAP, because that's definitely good. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Hollywood producer.
But look at the scenario back to what I was saying. The scenario for that is, I really think that Ilya Dragunov and Gunther are gonna go at it. If they don't, Ilya Dragunov is definitely gonna end up in Germany, and Gunther's gonna be IC champion probably up until Germany. So because that's just the way it is. They'd be crazy not to have that man on the pay-per-view.
You think he's gonna be IC champion? You don't think he'd be world champion by then?
That too. Depends.
I mean, I've said Gunther's a possible favorite to win the Rumble.
Unpopular opinion. Okay, let's shift gears because I want to talk about that.
Wait, before we shift gears, Peas, what's your dream match? Because we got
Oh
everyone
yeah,
else's but yours.
yeah.
I don't have one. You know,
Okay,
like
can you name one person that if you saw the match announced, like if they opened up Raw and you saw that CM Punk is going against blah blah, who would shock you and
I
interest you into
can't
watching?
I can't think of anyone that you guys haven't named already. To be honest with you, like Shinsuke, of course, I think will be good. Obviously, Roman, maybe even like Cody. They could like really play shit up without playing shit up. Because Cody knows how to like take a nod at the other company without kind of going into things, like his joke at the press conference. So I think that'll be good. But you know, I try not to think too far ahead with these things. Like I'm already still fucking shocked and shooketh that he's back. So I'm more just like, okay, let's let's just see
You
how
shook it that Phil
how it
cooketh?
I can't with you.
Bars.
Oh my god. All right, so let's go into I think we have some tweets queued up that we were gonna address. I'm not sure. But is AJ Lee and CM Punk the most talked about WWE couple?
No.
No.
Of all time, no.
No.
Not even now.
Oh.
Like maybe over the weekend, but
I'm sorry.
No.
They not. They
they're
not.
over Bianca and Montez.
They not over. Hello. They're not over Macho Man, Randy Man Savage, and Miss
Ooh.
Elizabeth. Come on, B.
Well, I
Come
wasn't even thinking of all
on.
time. I was just thinking talking about now. I was trying to give them
They
that.
not.
I mean, even now, you still got Seth and
Even
fucking
now.
Becky.
I think they're the
I wish
most
I
talked
could have
about
seen
couple.
somebody was dressed as Seth and Becky at Survivor Series in Chicago.
I think they're the most talked about couple in WWE.
Thank God
think
they're not on
are.
screen together.
Yeah.
And then
A close
even all
second is like
time,
Miz and Maurice.
and then even all time, you got when Cena and Nikki were fucking on TV, bro. You had Miz spend an entire Mania build mocking the fuck out of Cena and Nikki Bella.
Brought his wife into that whole shit just to
It's
lose.
the funniest shit I've ever seen in a Mania build. It's like, why
doing
is this
a Macho
happening?
Divas episode, 3 of them. I said, what
Okay,
the fuck
John.
John.
Rule number 367.
Yo,
But I think I think they're one of the cutest couples. I think for Punk to be called Chick Magnet Punk and he settles down with like her, even though there's some controversy behind that themselves.
They're so
But
late.
they were meant to be. I like them as a couple because even after he left and she left and she started doing her own thing, you could tell he's his wife's biggest fan. And I love that. I love a man that's like your biggest fan. And she's his biggest fan too. But like even when I remember like the book, when she came out with the book, he like showed up to a book signing one time in a t-shirt that he had made for her and was like, I'm your biggest fan. Can you sign my book? Like I just think that's couple goals. Like he supports his wife and everything she does. Even on the podcast when he was like, I was disappointed when she left because even when I don't like the programming, I was still watching everything everything she was doing because I watch her. I love her. That is goals. Like so are they one of the cutest couples in WWE? Yes. Not the most popular though.
No, I wouldn't say that too. And I see, hey Dylan, talked about Taya and Sammy. I mean, I do want to also congratulate them because they just announced that they had their baby girl, and also Alexa Bliss and Ryan Cabrera. Congratulations, Carmella. Then we got then we got Billie Kay about to drop. So we're gonna have all these little wrestling babies. They're gonna be in the performance center in like 18 years. So let's
no, you want to hear some. There's a legend's grandson who's training in Japan right now to be a wrestler. Who just passed away.
Who?
It just passed. I don't know. A lot of people pass away. Can you be more specific?
I don't want to butcher the name, but he was just featured. No, he was just featured on Dark Side of the Ring, and then when they were talking about the whole thing with going to North Korea to wrestle. I forgot his name. I'm gonna look for it right now.
Antonio Inoki?
Yeah, his grandson is training to be his grandson is 13 years old. training right now to
God,
be a
shit.
wrestler.
Is that the one
So
Christian talked about at the press conference? He said, and they had a grandfather.
yeah, that's what he's talking about. Shout out to fucking Christian.
Yeah, he's supposed to
I
be
swear,
talking
that's my
that
favorite thing
kickback.
about Dynamite, because he just be coming out in that fucking turtleneck and that fucking belt with that same jacket, just reading people for filth.
And he
I can't.
rechanged Luchasaurus name. He renamed him
To
to Kill
Kill
Switch.
Switch, and at the end, people were like, "Wait, Kill Switch," and it took me. I'm slow. It took
It's
me a
okay.
minute to realize. I was like, "Oh my god, I know why he's
And
calling him
Nick
Kill
Wayne, you are the
Switch."
prodigy.
Fucking
Yeah, I think Seth's reaction was general. Brian is very simple. Brian down there, not our Brian. It's simple. If the cameras rolling, yes, then it's a work.
if it's
100%.
not, nah, that man.
You think Seth is gonna ruin the church's money, his money, while him and Becky are traveling on the road with their fucking baby? You think he's gonna throw all that shit away on a possible suspension to hook off on fucking Punk?
But when the clips roll around, I think WWE was definitely like, "Listen, you have a whole different program coming on. You need to nip that shit in the bud. You need to nip it in the bud." And that's why when he went to that holiday live show, he said what he said. He said what he said, and said what he said on Raw, which was perfect, because we don't need to think about that right now. Get Drew out of the way, because I don't know why Drew is still here in the first place. Get him out of the way, and
Because Drew
then
got to show off his
figure this shit out
culito on
later.
TV. That's
Who
why.
told him to come out in a Sheen onesie? First of all, second of all,
Yo, not a Sheen onesie.
He got white tights. He got black tighties. He was like, yo,
he came
culito
out
in
in a Sheen
here.
outfit in a leather jacket. He looked like an Instagram influencer.
I was
Anyway,
like, oh, look at him showing his ass.
showing them cheeks. So who told him to do that?
Like, he
And
threw off his skirt and he's like,
in
yo,
my
look at this booty.
opinion, from when I watched and people were like, "Oh, no one wants him here," blah blah. He's a cancer, blah blah. The reactions have been pretty positive. Everybody's just been pretty shocked and excited to see what's next. Like, Randy Orton pulled up a chair and was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a minute because we in Chicago. Let me just sit down." And he was like, I could see from where I was sitting when he started doing this and he pointed to him. You could see in the cage. Randy was like they were waving to each other. They're old friends, mind you. They were WrestleMania opponents. They cool. They don't got no qualm. Randy Orton's like, "Listen, you here for the bag. I'm here for the bag. I got 6 fucking kids to feed. Me and you both here for the same bag, brother. Welcome back." So
I think it was genuine. It's all a part of a work, but I think it was 100%.
I think because
let's make this money, but I'm still pissed, and we going, but at the end of the day, it's better because he knew, Seth Rollins knew, I'm locked now. Well, it's no way they taking the title off of him. He knew he's getting his moment. The marquee spot.
He's looking at WrestleMania. So I was like, I got my Mania match.
Yep, and
hell yeah,
ching fucking ching.
And so he was like, yeah, I'm a every way he felt, he was going to display it. But make no mistake about it, Michael Cole ain't that strong.
Right. And we gotta remember too, like, who we're talking about, people that fucking live and breathe this business. Seth can legit hate CM Punk's guts. CM Punk can legit hate Seth's gut, and they probably will put on the best match. That, like, you know what I'm saying? So like that reaction, and then knowing like, okay, like I'm about to sell this shit before I don't even have, like, they haven't even mentioned it, and we are already sold on this possible WrestleMania match. Like, you know, it's almost like
them tickets are almost sold out for both nights.
But I'm glad we're talking about WrestleMania, because we did say we was gonna get to some tweets, right? And here's an unpopular opinion. Shout out to my boy Terrence TW talking about from the Talking About Pod. He said, if people go crazy when they think Punk getting a ring for a promo, Cody's story is in trouble. You think that this could shift? You know, a lot of people have been saying this week that Punk Rollins, but a possible Punk Roman match.
I mean, I saw one of the comments in our chat earlier where Delvin was saying like Punk versus Rollins for the title, and then Reigns versus Orton for the other title. And my initial thought was, so we're just gonna leave Cody out of this? He ain't finishing his story. Dream deferred another year. But that's the thing is, when Punk is coming in, it's like we said with Jade, the same shit applies to Punk, and the same shit might apply to Mercedes, and Mercedes decides to pull up for the Royal Rumble. If they come in, You gotta have something like a plan in place to use them, especially with Mania coming up. But then that also means they're taking someone's spot. Punk is gonna be in a high profile match. That means someone ain't gonna get that high profile match. Who might it be? Maybe it's Cody that gets asked out on this one. No pun intended. Maybe it's Drew, pun intended,
But
that
you
gets
know what
asked
though?
out.
They might not get the match, but they can have an opportunity to make their match high profile, right?
Right.
Because you look at WrestleMania 19 is one of my favorite WrestleManias. You look at the back end of that card, any of those matches can main event. You're not gonna say Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho wasn't a high profile match. Booker T, much as a sore spot, Booker T versus Triple H wasn't a high profile match. Hogan versus Vince wasn't a high profile match. Rock Austin 3 wasn't a high profile match. And obviously Lesnar and Kurt Angle, so even though like the WWE main event is so stacked right now that they can still be, even if you're not closing the show. Last year, Rhea and Charlotte was a high profile match, even though it didn't close the show.
And then even on top of that, I was gonna bring up this year's WrestleMania because, like you said, Rhea and Charlotte could have main evented. You had the Uso, Sammy, and KO that did main event, and then the best match didn't even main event. Seth, Gunther, and Drew tore the fucking house down.
They
They
definitely
weren't
did.
nowhere close to main event, and that was one of those that's like, bro.
Yeah.
But for Mania, yeah, there's options with Punk, but I think the number one thing is Punk and Seth. Like that's the one you make unless
It's
Yes.
gonna have
something
to be.
happens.
And let me just say this, right? I said in my TikTok that I really think the biggest qualm here, and people don't understand why I said what I said. It's the looking glass. Like Seth is everything that people wanted Punk to be, and let me tell you why. Literally, like I said, Seth followed that. Seth had that same formula when he was down at NXT. Punk even went down there when he was WWE Championship and told him, listen, I'm here to best you, but you need to make your own mold." And I remember that promo, cut his day. That was Punk literally telling him, like, when I'm gone, it's you. So imagine it's supposed to be you, and then the person who told you it's supposed to be you shows the fuck up.
Mm.
And I sent you guys something in the group chat because someone said on Twitter, and I think it's hilarious, that Punk became the man he made fun of years ago during his Summer of Punk. And who did he make fun of?
Big Sexy.
Kevin
Big
fucking Nash.
All right.
sexy.
But he came back to do what? He came back and did what? What Kevin Nash does, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't surprise me if they cut a program that wasn't exactly like that. And shout out to Heart, shout out to my girl. It wouldn't surprise me if they cut a promo exactly like that, to where Seth ribs Punk for saying all this shit and being on all this long and giving up on his fans. And Punk's like, I did say all that, but fight me though. Like literally in his own terms,
Right.
like fight me though.
Right.
Like beat me done.
And
Like
another
what's good?
person that, of course, yes, I'm gonna go to another company for millions more and a lighter work schedule. Of course, you think CM Punk was about to turn down whatever money that he's about to get with the profile and the buzzer he got leaving AEW? Like, come on.
No,
And
it'd
also,
be
it might be
stupid.
better that nobody wants him or likes him there because the backstage culture is healthier than AEW. So, like, him and Seth could legit hate each other, and they're gonna fucking make that money at
Hogan
WrestleMania.
and Macho Man
Period.
did it all the time. Hogan said they didn't like each other, but they made the most money together because
Mhm.
Macho
And
Man
let
knew how to do business.
Brett
exactly.
and
And then with
Sean didn't
Seth
like each other.
Rollins,
They still did the Survivor Series match.
Mm,
like, and let's
triggered.
be real honest here. Seth Rollins has his own beef with people. Like him and Matt Riddle could not stand each other. Like the whole thing with, and it was over Matt, and most of it was over
That was
Matt
worse.
Riddle's wife and the shit that she was saying about the women, particularly
Becky.
Seth's girlfriend at the time, Becky. And he
Yeah.
sat him down and tried to explain to him, like, yo, you need to tone that shit down. And Matt's like, you're not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to do anything about it. So they had their beef there. Also, some things that Riddle was doing backstage wise, disrespecting authority, disrespecting veterans. He ain't like that shit. So his general consensus was, I don't like this guy. But then he had to sit him down and be what? Mature and real and look at the bag and literally go, we can make this program work. Let's make it work.
Yep.
I think that Seth feeling the way that he's feeling has to stem from the fact that you were supposed to be my mentor. You were supposed to, and it is funny. I'm talking like this as if we didn't go through this with Punk at MJF, but I think it's exactly what it is. Like, I think in some mind, a lot of people saw them both. They had the same run, but I think Seth's like, you were gone. You turned your back on us. You turned your back on me, and a lot of people back there and talked all this shit about this company that I am in. I'm trying to be the face of this company you're spitting on. I don't like that. So I
Right.
don't like you. And it's fine because Seth Rollins, look at everything he's doing. He is now, in my opinion, he's now the prototype too. Like he's
Hmm.
now one of the
He is the
prototypes.
epitome of a workhorse, and the
He
exciting thing
is.
about Seth is like it always feels like it's like I feel the same way about Bailey, to be honest with you, where it's like they've been around for so long, but it still feels like they haven't even fucking got to where they can get to yet.
Right.
And you can't discount how long Seth's been performing at this high of a level consistently.
Hmm. For him to be the first, so at the first champion as his new belt, to have the run that he's running, it is the most interesting run to me. That this the IC championship, because it's hard for me, and honestly, it's bad for me to say this, but Roman Reigns' title reign is just like, okay, like, you're not there right now, and we get it. You're not gonna be, you can't be there right now. But it's like, if it's not there every time to look at and be fascinated with, I check out. And the
Yeah.
only thing that's been keeping me checked in is Gunther's reign and Seth Rollins' reign. His matches with Shinsuke
Mhm.
Nakamura, like, I did not expect to be that invested in it. I really didn't.
Same.
Oh, we will
Scary
definitely see
cold
Seth
Roman
versus
Reigns.
Roman. We will definitely see Seth
We're
versus
definitely
Roman
gonna see
again.
it.
Like, keep in mind,
Without
Brian Soulmate, Seth still has a DQ victory over Roman Reigns during this entire Tribal Chief reign. So Seth is still owed a 1v1 for that title at some
That's the
point.
story I want to be finished, because we're talking about someone who turned his back on Roman when they were a team.
Roman owes
That
him one.
story's yeah, that story's
He
that
still to beat
story
him.
is not
That
finished.
story's just on pause, but it's not done.
It's
Yeah,
not
which is
done.
so
I
good
want
because you could click on anytime you want and it's gonna hit no matter what,
hmm
which
hmm
is what you want. You know, you want to be able to create like those moments. You want to be able to create buzz no matter what. And Seth Rollins does that. CM Punk does that. Roman Reigns does that. So like I'm glad that, you know, Punk is back home. I do want to close out with one question that we sort of like touched on, but I want to know who was or
Wait,
is
is he not injured? I'm sorry. I'm watching
no problem.
MJF. He
He
just
got he
broke his
walking with a
cane.
cane.
So he's not injured.
No, I think he's slightly hurt.
Malachi. Wait, who's that coming after him? Is it Switch? Wait a minute. I'm
It
sorry.
better
Go
be
ahead, P.
Swerve or somebody, the devil.
But I want to know who the devil is. I want to know what.
Well, we'll find out when Tony Khan makes another announcement on Twitter.
Nah, I think it's Jungle Boy at this point.
I think so too. I
Ooh,
think
ooh, ooh, Samoa Joe. Ariana, what are you doing here? I'm
so.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yo, oh God, wait, what? This was made official?
No,
I hope
Could they
not.
make that match instead of like loser retires, they like a double retirement match?
No, for real,
I
because
ain't
they
gonna
both need to
lie.
hang it up.
I ain't gonna lie. I would go to that if it's in driving distance, just because I've never seen them two. As many times I've seen it on my screen, I've never seen it in person.
You want to
Yeah, but
see
you want to
Ric
see
Flair in
this
the ring
version
with
of Flair's thing, though?
It's just to say I've seen it. Look, and I know I said it on Grand Slam. I was over Sting because he looked like he was about to break it down and lose a hip. But shoot,
what?
shoot, if they gonna do it, I'll be in the building. I was very close. Was it like 2012 to go? I think it was in Philly or Jersey when Sting went against Hogan in TNA, and I did not do it.
That is hilarious. Who are or is CM Punk's best dancing partners?
The person that I
Ooh.
think that one of them is the person who apparently led the committee that got him fired, Brian Danielson.
Yes, yes.
Brian uses vegan powers to get him out of there.
And you know what?
I wouldn't be surprised if them two sat like literally because Tony's a bitch, but I think that that was the best case scenario. If it had to be Danielson, it was probably the best person to do it. And I'll be really honest here. I joke, I was like on Twitter, I was like, it'd be your own people, but really, if it was gonna go down the way it's gonna go down for anybody to like head and dismiss him or have that conversation with him, Brian Danielson is your guy. Like,
and let's say, you
he's
know,
your
because
guy.
he says he's the
He's your
leader, like
guy.
he's the head of the committee. Doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean he had the final say.
Right.
You know, it doesn't necessarily mean even
Matt Hardy and Aubrey Edwards were on there, which is random as fuck. But
you gotta
like,
have with discipline committees, you gotta have somebody from all sides.
Right. QT
So,
Marshall was on there too.
Yeah, and so, but I think that those two, you don't really hear about like a friendship with them. And I think the internet booked them being like the best because they put on so many classics that people think, oh man, they probably, you know, they probably couldn't wait to work with each other when they both was in AEW, but we never saw it. It might be a reason for that. You know, I know I'm excited, you know, but who knows, you know, but that's, you know, but to me like that, but I think John Cena, and because you had such a contrast of styles that you got everything you needed in those matches. You had every audience, really, every single audience addressed. Whether if you love the sports entertainment side, if you was the child who loved wrestling, if you was the child that was the anti-hero, the rebel child, or if you was the diehard, you got everything. And those matches, they always delivered, whether when Punk was the heel or Punk was a fellow babyface.
Right. I think his best dance partner is Jericho.
Are we saying for right now or all time for dance partners for Punk?
P. Who's it, of all time or right now?
All time right now.
His best dance partner is Samoa Joe of all time. If I'm gonna say all time,
I love their chemistry.
He has chemistry with him for days on end. Like, and I keep going back to Ring of Honor. Their program always worked because they understood each other's technique, and that's what makes you the best dance partner. I think that even if you look at, we'll take it way far back, him and Chris Heroes programming, he was a good dance partner with him. But I think of all time, definitely Samoa Joe.
See, for me, since I'm limited with the Punk stuff because I had to play catch up when I got back into I said this on Turnbuckle Talk, when I got back into wrestling, this was when Punk had just left before WrestleMania 30. So I was one of those that was going through the WWE network for $9.99 and being like, who the fuck is this guy that everyone keeps talking about and keeps changing his name? Because I had no clue. But the feud that stood out the most to me when I was doing my rewatch of Punk is him and Jeff Hardy, because that shit was fucking gold. And Punk going in on Jeff's sobriety issues and whatnot, but then the matches themselves, and that was at a time where Jeff was fucking the guy, no more words, he had the face paint, and Punk was leaning all the way the fuck into it. Like, that, out of all the feuds I watched with Punk and the WWE stuff, that was the one I was like, bro, that was money. And that SummerSlam match is still one of my favorite matches.
It was a really good match.
History. So goddamn good.
Nobody choosing Ryback? I gotta be a troll. I'm sorry. Talking about some. I will quit wrestling. I will quit wrestling if he's back. I was like, bye bye, bitch. Like,
I know. Like, everyone was like, Ryback retired. We'd rather see Virgil before we see Ryback.
Not Virgil, child.
Yes, give me Virgil the $1 Million Shuffle before I see goddamn Ryback on my screen.
God, I didn't realize Virgil wrestled as much as he did until I was watching like old stuff, and I was just like, okay.
Okay, AR Fox.
Don't ask why I know his music.
Oh man, I like just
catchy.
Oh, thank you.
Did you get that at the store?
Yep.
Nice, very very nice. Great color.
Are we talking about merch?
I saw it. Oh, you got some too,
girl. Ooh, love. Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun.
War Games.
I was waiting for somebody to say it.
Love
I was waiting for somebody to say it.
Let's do one more tweet for the unpopular opinions, and then we'll pick a winner for the giveaway. Oh, shout out to Backstage Brawl. That's family.
That's a Backstage Brawl.
Okay, so I do like this opinion about Macho Man Piper to someone's Hogan. Like, he almost makes like John Cena shine brighter. He, you know, just because he's like the anti of what John Cena is, and maybe like even the same with Daniel Bryan. How do y'all feel about this opinion?
I think Justin just brought up something that's low key hidden in that statement also, because he was definitely doing that for Jeff Hardy as well in their world title feud. Jeff Hardy was more the Hulk Hogan. If people remember at that time, you couldn't go nowhere in a WWE show without people wearing those glow in the dark armbands that Jeff Hardy used to wear.
Or the face paint.
Yeah, the face paint. You know, so like, yeah, you and like even and that was, you know, a lot of his gripe during that time when they turned him heel, because he was like, we're not doing that to them.
No.
No, come on. They showed up for Beyonce at the Renaissance meeting. Movie.
Yeah, they showed up looking for a check. That's why.
They would be.
I can't.
I don't get kicked
Can
out of
you pay my bills? I got the auto bills.
Oh. Yeah, I just had them.
I got the utility bills. Then maybe we
stop it, Justin. You making it worse.
Wow. Case closed.
I'm muting myself. I'm done.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. He is definitely the Macho Man, which ain't bad. I mean, he wore Macho Man's, you know, simulated Macho Man trunks when Macho Man died. It's not bad to be the Macho Man.
That's true. I mean, he was the, you know, always the 5-star match. May not be the main event, but you're most likely going to talk about his actual matches, and everyone I think knows at this point the dedication that he put towards being that. Like, oh, you know what, we might not be the big money match, but you're going to remember it. And even like, I think CM Punk and Seth Rollins, I think it's absolutely that. You know,
it's funny. It just came to my head. I would be totally like, what happened between him and Grayson Waller? Like, I run that. I just think that will cook. I think him and Austin Theory will cook too.
I think he would take Theory to the level that he needs to get to. Because Theory still, I mean, John Cena couldn't do it, but I think CM Punk might could get him there.
Don't do that.
And Theory's still young.
He swallowed putting that boy over. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Kid, you're not believable. I don't believe nothing that you're doing. And everything I said to him in the ring, I said to him in person.
Ooh, you sound just like him. Oh man. So let me answer Dylan's question real quick. Hey girl, by the way. Orton's best dance partner. That's a good question, because I just like a lot of what like he does. But I would say, damn, that's hard.
John Cena. Do 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 do.
Yeah, kind of.
I think of Paul Heyman. When Paul Heyman came out, he was like, do 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 do.
Oh, Edge. That's an interesting one.
For CM Punk or Orton?
I think he was referring to.
Oh, it's fun, and it's funny that we talked about AJ Lee because Julia Hart just named her and Natalya as her dream opponents.
Oh wow! I love that. Oh, Triple H.
I agree with that one.
I agree with that one. Oh
Randy
my God.
was an absolute menace to the fucking McMahon family trying to go after Triple H.
A menace? He was that man's worst night. He was that man's headache.
I'm saying menace lightly because I just saw the fucking video circulate on Twitter the other day of like Triple H handcuffed to the ring while Randy fucking knocks out Stephanie with a DDT and then kisses her on the lips while Triple H is just handcuffed going ape shit. And I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot about
But
this.
then at WrestleMania 25, the anniversary edition in Houston, Texas, the bell rang.
Yeah, and that went over like a wet fart.
It did. The program was good. The build-up was phenomenal. They shouldn't have closed the show. I mean, granted, we didn't know we was going to get what we got with Taker and Shawn, which we got the next year again. But yeah, they shouldn't have closed the show.
That's true.
But they had to because it was the world title match.
And they wanted to put the respect
and it was
on the
Triple
world title.
H who's got to throw a sledgehammer. I got to get my main event in. And then the match said,
It looks like, you know what I think this is telling me is, especially because everyone thinks that Randy Orton's return was like overshadowed or whatever, and there's been a lot of Randy Orton talk and comments. I think we need a Randy Orton appreciation night.
Could it be? Yes.
I think it's time for that. I don't.
So there's a lot. There's a lot of like appreciation nights. Have we done a Bianca Belair appreciation night?
No, we have not.
I feel like, well, if we could just get into war games just a little bit. Them ladies cooked as they always do to open the show. It was great to see. Oh, I love that Top Flight's back, but they cooked 1,000%. I enjoyed it.
Your scores on that
scorecard's coming back.
Yeah, let's do that, and maybe we could post it on social. So
we're gonna do game plan. We haven't announced Collision yet, but it's year 2 of the second annual top 5 scoreboard. Well, it's now top 6 because we have Pablo. So my goal now, scorecard is coming back. I want to be fair and start the year over. So I won't be doing any scores for any pay-per-views the rest of the year. But next year we're going to start over. But I do want everybody's top match, and I rate it again. I think that'd be dope.
Okay, cool.
From the fan club.
From the fan club.
And from schooling.
And from schooling. That is good. I gotta work on that one.
And from Sound Off.
Are we calling the Audible EVP for next week?
And do Randy Orton?
Yeah.
Can we?
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Okay.
Why?
I'm good either way. Next week Edge and Christian appreciation night on the night that they faced each other in Montreal. What y'all think?
So you are more than a 5-second pose, huh?
You guys and everyone, all the VIP that's still in the club. Do we want to do a Randy Orton appreciation night next week, or should we do an Edge and Christian appreciation night next week because they have a match in Canada coming up?
Canada.
Let us know.
I'll
put a poll up on Twitter as well. Because honestly,
I will go to Montreal. It's only an Amtrak train right away.
Oh, that's good to know.
And you know what's cool? And shout out because I got family in Montreal. The cool thing about their venue. But the cool thing about their venue is as soon as you get off the train, it is an underground tunnel, and it is a 5-minute walk to the stadium that's on the other side of a mall. So if you want to eat and drink and take the train and go to the show and go home, you can do all that.
Ooh, I love the sound of that.
Wait, so Montreal's on the East Coast too?
Yes, Montreal is past upstate New York.
So how close is it to Toronto?
You got another hour and a half to Toronto.
Interesting.
It's like driving from New York to Virginia.
Ugh.
Okay.
Sorry, Justin.
That's the drive, except a bunch of mountains.
I like Virginia now.
Yeah, I just don't like. I can't drive.
I would take the train to Virginia. Let's be real.
Depends on what parts of Virginia, because there's a lot of parts that's like absolutely the fuck not.
Yeah, like Virginia.
It's a 6-hour drive to Canada, to Montreal to be specific, and there's another hour to Toronto.
Canada.
Got you.
But if you, like I said, if you ever wanted to go to like a wrestle, if you ever wanted to go to a WWE or AEW show in Canada, it is very possible. That's actually on my next year like manifestation board. Is like see a WWE event in a different country, no matter
So
what
that's
it
where
is.
we're going.
There or France, even though I don't like France that much, but I think it'd be
I've
cool to
never
see a
been.
WWE
Oui,
show in
oui,
France.
merci beaucoup. I here for the wrestling.
Let me get my fucking passport because my ass about to be international. I'm
And
gonna
global entry.
the international that I'm about to be
I've definitely been
on.
trying to go to
And
And
Canada.
we're
according
all
to
about
Dylan, we ain't going to Perth, Australia. So
Yeah, Dylan
well,
warned us.
Dylan said nah, so I'm gonna take his
I
word
trust him.
for it.
I believe I
We,
trust
we
in Dylan.
trust Dylan. We love Dylan. So I think this was fun. Keith already voted for Randy Orton in appreciation night. Dylan made a good point about how Randy might just be a little underappreciated, and I
oh
think
yeah.
absence makes the heart grow fonder. Because again, I don't think his Randy Orton's return was overshadowed at all. I think it made the impact, and we were all so happy to see him. Shout out to Ella J, who was sitting in our row in the media section, and she is a Randy
Love
Orton
Ella.
guy, and like she was like oh she couldn't like contain herself.
I
So
love those moments.
we'll still vote to see what we do next week, but we do have a winner for our 2K23 giveaway.
Dude, we're gonna give a huge congratulations to Keith. He is the winner.
Ooh,
He will get
macaroni Tony,
macaroni. Tony will get
macaroni Tony,
a
got that game.
copy of WWE 2K25 for PlayStation. So congratulations to him. And if by chance you create the fan club on the game, make sure you screenshot it. Or you
Please
create
do.
Oh, that
TWG
would be
Universe.
so
Make sure you
cool.
screenshot and share it with us. But enjoy the game. I gotta get you my gamer tag, main event status, but I'll text it to you. I
Cool,
haven't been on the
cool.
game.
Congratulations.
Actually, like yesterday was the first day I played PlayStation in like forever. No, well, since we had the fan club where we was playing,
Oh
and
yeah.
Seindole was flexing her gaming skills. She ain't telling
Nice.
nobody that. So she
Sienna
pulled
was
up.
I
on
mean,
it.
you know who her brother is?
Hello.
Oh,
As if I'm allowed to not know anything else, dude. Like I would get scolded. I would have gotten destroyed if I didn't know something. He
She
would
was
have
like,
looked at me with he would have
this
looked at me
game.
like this.
shout out to
Mhm.
Soul Press. We
Yeah,
love you,
shout out
He would
to
have
bro.
looked
make
at me
sure y'all
like this.
follow him.
He
Support
would have
his
been like, I raised you better than that. That's what he would have told me.
I mean, he was playing games with Kofi
Like
Kingston, so
like I know, right? Living his best life. Like how Letty be telling Patricia, I raised you. He would have looked at me like, I raised you better than this. Like it would have been on that same level. I'd have been like, dude, really?
So okay, so
wait,
all
Mount
right. So
Rushmore.
Dylan is cooking tonight because she's bringing up all of these good topics that we can
Mhm.
for sure do a fan club
Oh.
on this. What our Mount Rushmore is.
I've definitely
So
given my women's Mount Rushmore before on
yeah,
here.
so I feel like that's a longer conversation. So we'll definitely do a fan club on that. But I want to thank everyone, of course, for tuning in to another edition of Fan Club. I want to thank everyone who stuck with us because I think we've officially been doing this a year
Oh, well over.
Yeah,
Longer.
consistently.
well
I think
over.
what is this
I
51,
posted on my
52?
story where we started, and I just have to always have to give the biggest bunches of roses to Patricia, who instilled this weird faith in me to say, hey, I think we should do a show where we just like talk about stuff in wrestling. Doesn't have to be a recap or anything. I think we should just talk about, I think you'd be perfect. Because I never would have thought in like a year that everything that came after it would come after. And the growth that I've had personally doing podcasting
Mhm.
alone has come from doing this show. So when I say like biggest bouquet of flowers, chocolates, you know, freaking, and not just some Hershey kisses, we talking Godiva, okay? I
Ooh.
owe this girl so much of all my confidence and everything that I have, and to Brian and to Justin, who always speak life into me when I feel like I'm not good enough to even be in this space. Like, it's been a year, and I look at that story today and I'm like, damn, like I really started with a webcam and a white backdrop. Like
We've
we
all
all came a
came
long way.
such
And
a
a
long
lot of you that are in the
way.
VIPs are VIP because you were all here for it all. And we were like 6
Yeah.
people live. I think tonight, how many people do we have on live right now?
We
have
had
like
like almost 20 at one point consistently, but we constantly get like hundreds of playback. I'm
right,
considering maybe even putting these like the audio versions too, because people like to
right.
hear just other wrestling fans talk about wrestling. And I think what's cool about fan club is like I think on multiple occasions the four of us did not agree with each other. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like that's the fun part about it, where we can all talk about it. CM Punk was in the box 2 weeks ago, and we
Yeah.
literally just did a whole show about him where it did become sort of an appreciation night for him. So this is really like truly a stream like weekly for wrestling fans. Like it's not the IWC, it's not toxic, it's not a popularity contest. Like we just get in and we have good vibes. And I think those wrestling girls, shout out to Krista B and Pablo and Christina and the rest of like our sort of dream team. We've really done a lot in this industry. And Seindole, I think it's time for your flowers as well. But yeah, thank you so much for rocking with us. It's so hard to do weekly consistent content, so thank you. And of course, like our producer and just everything behind the scenes that you all do, I appreciate you guys. So where can everyone find you all?
You can find me on all social media platforms at It's Justin Rich. You can find me here Wednesday nights on Those Wrestling Girls Twitch channel, live at 7 p.m. for TWG Fan Club. Myself, these three beautiful, illustrious, intelligent co-hosts of mine. We may not agree on everything, but that makes it even more beautiful to have conversation, healthy dialogue about this thing called wrestling. You can catch me Twitter Spaces Tuesday nights on Black Wrestling's channel, live at 6:35 p.m. for Turnbuckle Talk. Myself, Mimi, and Corey, where we talk all things wrestling. You can catch me from time to time on True Hill Heat Sports and True Hill Heat Wrestling. Both of those channels are located on YouTube. We talk sports, wrestling, and all that fun stuff. We here, we outside, we active. So let's see CM Punk. Welcome back.
You can find me Mondays and Thursdays producing the Mass Man Show on the Ring of Wrestling. Shout out to everybody who've been sending us their Spotify rap. It's truly humbling to be in a lot of top 10s and top 5 podcasts. Make sure you check out this week's episode of Wednesday Worldwide, because Cal and Ben, they had to have a therapy session. I'm happy that CM Punk came back, but they wasn't too happy. So listen, check out their grievances. And of course, we talked about Jade Cargill not being
It's a
ready
good
just
show.
yet,
It was a
and
really
we
good
talked
episode.
about Mercedes. So make sure y'all check that out. And tonight, the Wrestling Realm Now podcast, we're going to talk about the returns and what it means. You get me, Brother Hugh, Brother Brandon, and the remarkable, the impeccable, the real Dwayne Allen. So make sure y'all be there at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time tonight. And yeah, that's it.
And as per always, it is your honorary wrestling girl, Seindole B. You can catch me on YouTube, reload.relive. You can catch me on Instagram, reload.relive. Follow me on TikTok, reload.relive. Watch me be a CM Punk loving troll on Twitter at
In
relive
8K.
via
You're
film.
in 8K right now.
Huh?
You're in 8K. Super high def.
Super high def, baby. And as always, if I'm not in any of those spaces, you can catch me here every Wednesday with the three best friends that anybody can have as family. Shout out to once again my girl Scarf, aka Krista B. This Friday, she returns with a new session of Sound Off and School and Mash together. So look out for her advertisement on that, where she and I will be talking about why we thought it was a bright freaking idea to travel to Chicago the day of one of the biggest pay-per-views of PLE history, and
And
why we both
Thanksgiving
thought it was worth
weekend.
it, but what in Thanksgiving weekend, and why we thought and what it took for us to get there. You can also catch me if you have not seen Jobbers Tears podcast. Shout out to them. They return with the Big Four with the lovely Janelle from HR, where Krista B and I did talk about Survivor Series and how basically I was sorry, I was right about CM Punk and everything else in between and
Yeah,
predictions.
definitely
So please
was.
tune in. It is a very good episode. Also want to shout out WTF Media because it was the in studio session. So if you've not seen that Big Four, you want to check it
It's
out.
so good.
You
Please
like
check
to
it
That
see
out.
got me
women's
to
wrestling.
Chicago.
Yes, and shout out to all the people that are really supportive about women being in media, and shout out to all the women who were in media. I saw Patricia,
Yes.
besides Patricia and Krista, who I will always root for. Shout out to Alex being in the room. Shout out to Steph Hardy and Kat from Body Slam Net, who were attending their first media PLE. Shout out to those girls, and just shout out to everybody who is a creator in general in this space. We go back and forth about a lot of things. We disagree about what's sports entertainment, what's wrestling, but the one thing that matters is representation. These companies are looking at us now. Before it was just people who used to work at newspaper, but now the amount of content creators that were at Survivor Series this weekend made me very proud. And the only way it goes up is if we all work together to just keep talking about this beautiful long episode of a soap opera called Pro Wrestling. So keep up the good work to everybody in this space.
Yes,
And I'm rooting for y'all.
Same. We're rooting for everybody that's in the game, especially the people that look like us that's in this game. 2023 was a huge year for everyone. A lot of ups and downs, but a lot of stepping into out of our comfort zone and like jumping and leaping and starting new things and all of that. So, it's been a good year, and I'm glad that we are like closing it out with a collision stream. We're closing it out being like consistent, with this fan club stream. So it's only up from here. And I guess everybody really knows where to find me, I hope, at this point. But follow those wrestling girls everywhere. Subscribe to our YouTube. We are streaming weekly on Twitch. I think Brian in the comments asked if we have merch. We do have merch. Maybe we'll end on a little merch commercial. Get your hoodies. It's cold.
It's Burr.
Get your hoodies
It's
from
brick.
fortnewwear.com. And then I think
It's hell frozen over out here.
right. And I
Oh, so that means CM Punk's outside?
Hello.
Oh my god. I want to re-release our Attitude Era capsule collection as well. So stay tuned for that. Maybe we'll do a little discount for the rest of the year, as going into 5 or our 5th year. But thank you to everyone in our VIP. We love you all, and we will see you next week.
Bye bye, guys.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Krista B, one half of those wrestling girls, and we hope that you're enjoying this current episode that we have for you. I had to come in here, interject, and plug ourselves real quick. We want to tell you about our merch exclusively on foryourwear.com. That's right, For Your Wear has all of those wrestling girls merch that you want and need, not only for yourself, but for your friends, your family, and your loved ones. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we have tank tops. So please go over to foryourwear.com to make sure you get those exclusive merch, those exclusive deals, and tell them that TWG sent you.